Hey everyone, welcome back to the Breakout Creator podcast. I'm your host, Dominic Detana, and today we have a special guest who's made a name for himself as an actor, content creator, and social media influencer. With over 1 million followers on TikTok and a growing fan base on other platforms, he's become a breakout star in his own right. In this episode, we'll be talking to Chaz Laughlin about his journey to becoming an actor and the steps he's taken to get to where he is today. We'll also be deep diving into his social media strategy and how he's managed to build such a large following on TikTok. But it's not just about the numbers for Chaz. We'll also be exploring his personal inspirations and the challenges he's faced along the way. Through it all, Chaz has remained focused on his goals of breaking into the big leagues as an actor. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation with Chaz as we uncover the secrets to his success and learn how he's breaking out in a competitive industry. 1 million followers, 300 videos. This number is like low.
Yeah, I don't post a whole bunch.
But so how do you grow an account with 1 million followers with only posting 325 videos?
Well, it's just because my face is already recognizable from like Darman, and I used to work with Viners back in the day when they first got on YouTube. Like when I first moved to Hollywood, I was in an acting class. I had been here like 3 months, and I met Hannah Stocking and Anwar Jabawi. Do you know who they are?
Yeah. That's wild that you met them.
I just met them in an acting class. It was at a studio called Leslie Kahn. They do a lot of comedy stuff.
Dang.
But that was my first interaction in the content creator world at all. I was just meeting these guys, and I was like, I don't know these people. And then we all just kind of hit it off. Anwar and I cracked jokes and we liked each other. And so they asked me to be on their YouTube as an actor.
Dang. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my first experience in the social media world ever. I had an Instagram. I did never post. I never had Vine, anything like that.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
So did you move to LA to be an actor?
I did. Yeah. So
how old were you when you moved here? What were you doing in Oregon?
Yeah. So I graduated high school, went to college, got a business degree, legal studies minor. I was gonna go into contract law.
Okay.
Because I like arguing.
Yeah. Okay.
And I realized acting was another passion I had as a child. I'd done theater. Yeah. But my dad straight up. You ever watch High School Musical?
Not
but
really.
Do you know the story? Like he's like, oh, don't do theater, do sports. That was my dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, straight up.
Wow. I feel like it's much more like seen as a thing that's okay right now to be an actor. Like it's like people want to be an actor. They want to be a YouTube star.
Sure.
Be an influencer.
Sure. I guess just in my family, my dad was just not very. We don't have a lot of artists in my family. It's like farmers and business type folk.
Okay.
So yeah, did that, and then I got back into it when I was in college.
Cool. So you went to school for business, and did you have a job at that time in business at all?
Kind of. I mean, I went to Western Oregon University. It's a small university, and I did kind of audio. This is my first interaction with audio-visual stuff. I managed the student union sort of building. Do you know what that would be?
Sure.
Just like a place where everyone kind of hangs out. And we have conferences and things like that.
Cool.
So I would run the cables and XLRs all over the place and like set up the wireless mics and run the board. So that was my first interaction with AV stuff. But yeah, I was the manager, so I'd have to schedule people and fire people, things like that as a student worker. It was cool.
So how did you decide then to go move to LA to, do this?
Yeah, well, I had taken a theater class, and I remember that had kind of sparked it back into me. I went, oh yeah, I used to love this. I was good at it because we did a class and everyone there was a theater major in the class except for me. I was the only business major because I was just like, I'll try this out. Sure. I used to like it. And
was it like an elective class or something?
Yeah, it was just like an elective, just like filling in one of those things. And we did a scene, and I had zero experience since doing a play like in sixth grade would have been my last play.
Yeah.
And then they like went in and gave notes, and the guy was like, oh, see, he's got these, boom, boom, boom. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe I do know what I'm doing. It was a beginner thing. So, you know, like a
kind of sparked it in you to keep going.
Yeah. So that did it. And I did another class in Portland. And then from there, I did a commercial, an Adidas commercial thing.
Okay.
And a T-Mobile commercial, which is cool. And I realized like, okay, this is cool. You can make money doing this. And I also realized I kind of capped out at that market. The Portland market's very small.
Okay.
Because like they do film around the country. Portland's one of the smaller markets. Pittsburgh's another market. New Orleans is another market. But I realized if I was going to try and give it a go professionally, I'd have to move to LA. And I've always kind of felt drawn to LA. I didn't quite know why, but I decided that was going to be the market for me because it was either LA or New York, and LA just always seemed sexier to me. Something about the weather. I think I was tired of the rain because I don't know if you know the weather in Oregon.
No.
It pisses down rain for like 9 months
Of the year?
of the year.
Oh,
You get like
all day?
all day, or sporadically. It's just kind of like dribbling on you, and then it stops, and then it dribbles on you, and then it stops, and then it pours.
Dang.
It's really, really miserable.
So, and you grew up there, obviously.
I did.
Were you like always kind of creative growing up?
I was.
You said you were in the plays in 4th, 5th grade?
Right. So I had done,
was I.
yeah, were you?
Yeah.
Santa Claus or something like that? Or were you a tree?
It was, yeah, something, of course, yeah.
So, they made us try out at my school for the Christmas play. And that was my first experience in it. And I got the lead as a 4th grader, which was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because they combined the 4th and 5th grades. And then I did it 5th and 6th grade. And I got the lead in every single year I ever did a play.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It was cool. I didn't have much exposure to creative things other than like, a macaroni painting or something like that, those sort of fun projects. But no, my dad kind of pushed me more into the sports realm.
Sure.
And so I did sports just about year round. And then when I was 14, 15, I worked.
My dad wanted me to not to do the sports realm because he had done it and had gotten hurt and he'd seen all of his friends get hurt. So he wanted me to stay completely away from it. So I was just, I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, so you moved to LA because you get the sense like LA's the place to be. I heard the same calling, right? Like,
yeah.
What is it? It's like,
what was it like for you?
I mean, I don't want to talk about me.
No, come on.
I mean, okay, for
I'm
me,
sure the fans want to hear this.
For me, it was like TikTok. Like you look on TikTok and everybody was in LA making content. It seemed like, how are all these people getting together and making videos? Like, oh, that person's in this person's video. And at the time, it was like collab videos were new to me. So that kind of inspired me to one of the ways to come here.
Interesting. Almost like somebody might watch this podcast and have that exact same moment.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. You're creating that moment for someone else. Who knows? They might be like, how does this guy and this? It doesn't make sense. Just totally different world.
Sure. Yeah.
So, you had like a big TikTok come up, right? That was kind of how you got started in social media.
Right. See, you should do podcasts. You're great at asking questions.
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice to know.
Yeah. Why not? I feel like being in the creative world, you have access to all these other things that you could do, like podcasting, and being an actor.
For me, it's
being
about
social media
consistency.
Yeah,
and I know because I know the game, and I've been around enough to study. Like I studied like Hannah and Anwar, and I studied their managers, and I studied Darman. You got to be consistent.
Yeah,
and you got to like it enough until it pays, and once it pays, it's a lot easier to like it.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to do it consistently before. And I don't know if the podcast thing would be something I'd be able to do consistently before it pays.
It's a grind, man.
Exactly.
You're episode 21.
Right.
I've not made a single dollar.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
Just because I know the passion isn't quite there for me. There are other artistic pursuits that I'd invest my work in.
For sure. So you're creative as a young kid. Like you found this creative passion reignited in college for you. And now you go to LA. And how old are you going to LA?
Oh man, I was 22, I think. Maybe I just turned 23.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 23.
Cool. Young man.
Yeah, it was cool. I was like, I didn't even realize how young I was. And I had never lived. So the town I grew up in is 30,000 people.
Wow.
The town I went to college in is even smaller. It was like with the students, like when the students were there, it was like 8,000. When the students weren't there, it was like 2,000. So most of the population was student body.
Right.
And it was teeny tiny.
Did you just know everybody in the area?
Pretty much.
Did people know you as like the guy who's doing acting?
No, not at all.
Or who's acting in these commercials?
No. It's because it was just like two little things. And I had left before they ever kind of aired. And that was at the tail end of my college experience.
Did you see any calling for you to do business at all? Were you going to?
I mean, we still do.
Yeah.
This is a business.
For sure.
Acting is a business. I find a lot of applications from my business education. And a lot of it, my grandfather owned a business. My father owns a business. My great-grandfather had a logging business.
Okay.
So I come from serial entrepreneurs of sorts.
Nice.
So yeah, I do find that I do still practice my business, even with negotiating brand deals, things like that.
Interesting. We'll get to that too. So you negotiate your own brand deals also?
For the most part, yeah.
Cool. So, okay, you get to LA, you're 22, 23. What's the first thing you do? Like, did you come by yourself?
I did.
Like on a train or an airplane or?
I drove down. My mother and I drove down, but I got lucky because my buddy from college was from Burbank.
Okay.
He lived right. Do you know Burbank well?
No.
No. Okay. Well, there's Burbank Avenue and Hollywood Way.
Okay.
I lived right around there. There's like Dino's Pizza, kind of by the Burbank or by the Costco in Burbank.
Okay.
So I lived in his old room for like 2 months.
So had known him before?
Yeah,
And
he was my buddy in college.
He was like,
dorms.
bro, come out. I got a spot for you. You can stay
He
here.
wasn't living there. I lived with his parents in his high school.
What?
In his high school bedroom. Yeah.
Okay.
His parents were just like, "Oh yeah, you're Eli's buddy, sure."
Wow.
I lived there for 2 months. It was so cool.
Okay.
Rent free, just to like get me on my feet.
Yeah.
And then I went and got a job, and I got an apartment with somebody who worked at that job. She was a host, and then her roommate had just moved out, so it was the perfect timing.
What was that job? What type of job?
It was a food runner at Pump. Do you know Pump?
No, I never heard of it.
It's in West Hollywood. There's a reality TV show that's filmed there called Vanderpump Rules.
No, I haven't never heard of it.
I've never watched it. Yeah,
So
it's reality TV.
Okay. So how did you go from that to like what was the next thing? Wait a second. You're working at a restaurant, basically as a food runner.
Yes.
Like delivery person, basically.
No. Food runner takes the food from the chef and takes it to the table.
Got it.
So they're like the little. And I was the only one who spoke just English in the back, so I learned a lot of Spanish.
Okay.
It was like me and all the Latino guys in the back.
Right.
But so the servers are the one who go and take the order, put it in, and then
Sure.
they get most of the money.
So you were doing it like the traditional Hollywood dream, like as an actor who works at a restaurant. Like this is like the cliche.
It was
movie.
Cool. It was cool. Yeah, it felt like a movie for a little bit, especially because it was a popular restaurant. It felt like Hollywood in the sense that people are fancy in that part of town.
Yeah.
A lot of money being passed around. It was cool. Met some of my best friends.
So how long did you work there for?
Not long. I'm not cut out for restaurants. I really don't do well. I only worked there from, I think, June of 2017 to October of 2017.
Okay.
Couple months.
Yeah.
But in that time, that's when I had met Anwar and Hannah, and I started acting in their videos a lot.
Got it.
They never paid me or anything like that, but it felt like a great opportunity. And I'm sure looking back on it, it has been because...
Really, that was. I mean,
yeah. I mean...
in my eyes even, yeah.
Well, that's actually how we met is through that path.
Right.
Because like through them, I met Dominic Andre on a set with Anwar.
Right.
And then I met you through Dominic Andre.
Crazy.
So because I met Anwar in that class, I met you.
And here we are.
Right. And so it felt like a smart decision to quit that job because the manager, I was getting promoted to server, which I was going to make a lot more money. You know, I was going from like $200 a night to like $300, $400, $500, $600 a night.
Wow.
Because sometimes they were making really good money. It was just disgustingly good.
Yeah.
Some of those dudes make $100,000 easy.
Wow.
Just serving tables.
Wow.
Yeah. In a year. But yeah, I started working as a PA for them. I think Hannah was the first one who hired me as a PA.
PA is
production assistant.
Okay.
It's like the grunt level stuff.
So what were you doing for that?
Just anything and everything because it was a real small, like bare bones kind of thing. But it was because we all got along and like I just had an energy that matched and like having me on set. And so it was cool. It was one of the only ways I could get paid to act is if I did production assistant work as well because they don't pay their actors.
Okay.
They just have people show up and do it for the exposure. And I wasn't really in it for that because I didn't really care at the time. You know, I didn't even realize what it was. I just liked acting and I liked hanging out with them because I had no friends in Los Angeles. And these were like my first friends in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was cool. I get like $125 a day to pack the gear in, pack the gear out, set up lights, move lights around in between takes. I'd have to get the food beforehand. I'd pretty much like anything and everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like meanwhile, you're interacting with some of the top influencers at the time.
Right.
It's pretty...
Well, it was just for me. It was just hanging out with my friends and their friends. That's what I really liked about it.
Yeah.
Because, Anwar was still one of my good buddies to this day. We don't hang out and talk as much as we used to, but it was nice.
Cool, man. What a cool opportunity.
It was.
So, but how do you go from working at a bar, at a restaurant as a runner, and then look at this other opportunity? Oh, okay. So you're making $125 a day. How often were you working with them?
Not that often. I mean, twice a week, maybe.
How do you make the decision to quit your job and still be able to afford to live
financially?
Yeah.
I was hurting, bro. I was hurting.
You eating ramen twice a week?
Oh yeah. I ate.
Oh no.
I don't even remember how I got by at this. Like looking back, and I was like, "Damn, how did I get by?" A lot of credit card debt.
Wow.
Took some things on. I burned through a lot of savings because I had worked since I was like 14, 15.
Okay.
I worked on the farm and I saved up a lot of money. Not a lot, but like a couple thousand. You know,
Sure.
It paid for most of my college, and I worked through college, so I had some money saved up from that. And I traveled the world a little bit, so I burned through a bit. But I think mainly probably taking on credit card debt. I drove for Postmates.
Sure.
I don't even remember how else I paid for that. It's really I'm kind of looking back like, oh man, that was.
You were grinding, bro.
Well, I had saved up some money from the restaurant because I was working a lot and making a lot of money. So it got carried me for a good chunk of the way.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then
I don't even know how else I got through it.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing when I'm looking at it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. It's so interesting how people are making it here and how you made it even at that time. Like, okay, so you're making that kind of money. What happens next for you?
Like how, in what sense?
In any sense, like so it's 2017.
Yeah.
TikTok's not around yet.
No.
Are you making videos or anything?
I start to model a lot of I'm like, okay, cool. They're doing it. Maybe I can do like comedy stuff. And like, I'm funny. At least I think I'm funny.
Yep.
And I would help come up with jokes on set with them all the time. Like once I started to get more confident. So I knew I could kind of do it. I think a lot of it for me at the time was just not feeling confident, getting over kind of traumas in my head. And I don't know. I just wasn't very confident. So I didn't make a ton, but I did start to do like a few little skits on my Instagram because that was the place at the time to put them.
Totally.
In the style of like a Vine type kind of creator, but with my own little twists on it. They were not getting views at all. They were not popular. I had maybe like 5,000 followers from the first time like Hannah tagged me in a story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it all just kind of blurs together for me because 2018 was a lot of the same. Like I mainly worked for Hannah and Anwar.
Okay.
Maybe I was doing like Lele.
Like the whole year?
Yeah, that was my main gig for 2018. Because Johnny and Sammy, they ran. Do you know what Shot Studios is?
No. What's Shot Studios?
It's the management company behind Hannah, Anwar.
Oh yeah,
Lele.
Okay.
Rudy.
Yep. I have heard of them.
Is that everyone? Oh,
Yeah.
They had Inanna, and then now they have like Delaney Glazer and like the Nelk Boys are technically under their label, but not really. I think Johnny and Sammy just kind of managed the Nelk Boys rather than the Nelk Boys being in Shots. But I don't know. I haven't talked to them about that one. That one's kind of a newer development since I left.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would work, I guess, between all those productions, I was kind of like one of their main PAs.
Amazing, man.
It was cool. And I got to learn and like work with Johnny and Sammy. They are gangsters, bro. Like if you wanna know who like the real behind the scenes gangsters are of social media, I don't know if there's a better person to talk to than John and Sam Shahidi.
Okay.
Do you know who they are?
No, never.
Bro, they're like the godfathers of social media.
Okay.
Straight up, like if
talking them up,
bro. I'm telling you, they're like the godfathers of social media.
How so?
I mean, they're just the most connected people.
Huh.
And it's because they're so cool. Like, if you ever get the chance to meet them, you'd be like, oh, shit, John and Sammy are cool. Like, Sammy is like the party one. He goes hard. They both party a little bit. But John is chill, bro. And like he just casually gets like Elon Musk on the Nelk Boys podcast.
What?
Yeah, that was John. Because the real interesting story, bro. And I got to learn it intimately firsthand working with the management company. And like, there's people like Jen, Calvin, these OGs of that company. But they tell you things, you learn a lot. Like the fact that Justin Bieber was an investor in their company.
Whoa.
Right. Yeah, dude. So I'm telling you, they're like connected. Floyd Mayweather is how they came up. You got to look into this.
Yeah,
dude. It's the whole thing. Johnny and Sammy, dude.
I've never even heard their names.
Right. That's why they're the godfathers.
Wow.
They like move in silence like that. But they make like, I don't know.
You don't have to like kiss their pinky when you go see them, do you?
Maybe, bro, if you want to live. No, I don't think they're not like that. They don't have egos like that too. Okay. That's why they work long time.
They sound awesome.
Yeah, they're super cool guys.
Sound cool people, man. I like cool people.
Yeah.
More cool people, the better.
Yeah, I agree, especially in this space because the social media space can be icky.
Yeah. It
can be really icky. I'm sure you know what I mean.
I don't think so, actually. Not as much as you do right now currently.
Okay.
Maybe you know more, is what I mean. Like,
maybe.
I've only been in this space for a little while, so.
Well, how long?
Yeah. 3 years.
3 years? Okay. I mean, it's long enough. Maybe you just got better experiences than I did.
I'm also like I feel like in a different, like being a content creator and being an actor are different things.
It is different,
You're in
but there's an intersection.
Yeah. You happen to.
Where social media and acting kind of have the crossover, especially at the high level. Well, in general, I mean, it's the old Hollywood problem. People using people transactionally.
Right.
And I think social media kind of elevates that to a point where people think it's acceptable to be transactional with people. And I find that behavior, I don't know if this is just like my upbringing, but I find it to be abhorrent and just repulsive.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Go into that a little bit. What does that mean exactly?
Abhorrent and repulsive?
And I mean, not like transactional as a...
Oh, transactional. It's like people straight up view people as assets. people aren't people to a lot of these Hollywood people, like especially social media Hollywood people are just disgusting. Like won't even look at you if you don't have clout or followers. You see what I'm saying? Or they treat you completely differently once they find out you got clout and followers or access to clout and followers.
Sure.
Right? Because like for me, I was in a position where like Hannah and Lele, they're some of the top people at the time. They're
still are.
Right? Huge.
Right.
But on the come up.
Right.
And a lot of people would pretend to be my friend and things like that, and then be like, "Oh, hey, yo, can you introduce me to these people?"
I mean, I could see that.
Oh yeah, and
I'm
like,
sure someone's gonna be like, "Yo, do you have Chaz on here? Come on, introduce me."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that happens. I'm sure. Like,
but
you
like,
see what I'm saying? Like,
honestly, like on my side of it, though, at least my experience, I'd be like, happily, if they're in my network and they're already like pre-vetted,
right.
Of course.
It's tough though, because I've just done it. I've been like, oh yeah, for sure, and then you get burned, bro.
Yeah, maybe you gotta tell me about that sometime.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't want to
know
name
about
names.
that.
I don't.
Yeah, we'll not
names.
talk about that.
It's just like I just had it, and I was like, you're not my friend.
Interesting.
I thought you were, and like 6 months, you put up like a good 6 month front, and then you got what you wanted, and then it was like, oh man, now I look like a jack.
Damn.
Because I introduced you to these people.
Well, see, I don't know why you would be like that. Also, because in this space, there's so many people that you could meet and who knows who and everything. And like, also there's no reason for me to like, I'm not even necessarily competing with anyone else.
Right.
Like we're not competing with each other. It doesn't hurt me to introduce you to anyone or like break our relationship for any other, reason. So
no, I mean, it's not even so much that like people burn a bridge or something afterwards.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, you don't get the text back on certain things. And it's like,
this is new. This is honestly new.
You've never heard this before? No one else has said this?
Nobody yet on this podcast. Yeah.
Well, maybe people don't want to be nice about it, but I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I think it's gross. It's just my thing.
Wow.
And it's like, I understand relationships change and drift over time, but like you can just definitely see sometimes people just switch up once they get something from you.
Maybe it's different for me because I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm working for myself technically as like a content creator, as like I'm not hired as working for someone else.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe I'm not experiencing that.
I don't know.
Is that possible?
It's possible. I mean, it could be.
That's why I like, this is so empowering actually. Having 1 million followers on TikTok, like as an actor, this is super empowering to yourself, at least I think it is.
Yeah. It's cool to see the numbers.
Yeah. And like 1 million people is that's still 1 million potential people that you can reach whenever you post. And then, whenever your videos do better than 1 million views, you know that you're hitting a larger audience. It's very respectable, it's cool. You can.
No, it's definitely cool.
Yeah.
It's humbling. I never thought I'd have this kind of an impact.
Yo, I'm very surprised. I feel like when I first met you, I don't remember you having 1 million followers also. I feel like that's...
I didn't.
No, that's
a couple
changed.
100,000.
Yeah, like 200,000.
Yeah.
Maybe remember when we did that video at that party?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like 200,000.
Oh, no, at that time I had more like 6, 7, 8.
6, okay.
Yeah.
So what did you do basically to start growing your account? So
here's the thing. I'm probably not the best person to talk to when it comes to about being a content creator, because I should have way more based on my exposure. I just post. I'm really lazy about it because I'll be honest with you. I'm not. This is the same reason I know I wouldn't be a good podcast host. I'm not committed to social media. I use social media. For me, it's like I'm an actor first.
Yeah.
Social media second. And I use social media as a tool, like you said, to like push and sell my acting.
Right. Is acting that much better? Like, can you make that much more money?
Oh, it's not about money for me. I never cared about the money.
Yeah.
It's about me. I guess for me, acting, why I like prefer acting, it's just, it saves my soul.
Okay.
In a way that nothing else ever has.
You got to tell me about that. What does that mean?
I don't know. So I guess I goes back to my childhood. So I love my family. My father is an alcoholic, right? And that's hard. That's hard to deal with. And like, I didn't realize how much it affected me mentally, even as an adult, even today. I didn't quite acknowledge that. And growing up in a household like that is turbulent. A lot of fighting, a lot of yelling. My mother grew up in a turbulent household as well. She left the house at 16 because her father was really bad. He died in jail. Like he's like a real in prison. He died in prison. Like when I talk about like her father is like a whole like these are like generational traumas that we're trying to break. So she didn't know how to heal. She didn't know how to cope. My father didn't know how to cope. Creates children who don't know how to cope. So the way I tried to cope is make myself small, and I hated myself for a long time. I think I was 13. I tried to myself. I was young.
Wow.
Because the pain was too much.
Holy
it's dark. It's
shit,
it's
man.
loaded, right? It's loaded, and it's It hurt really bad. But the thing that I think kind of gave me hope and light is when I could, I don't know why, something about me turned on when I could act. And I think what it was is it gave me permission to not be small. And that just unlocked. And I think I'm alive today because I'm in this industry as an actor. I don't give a damn. Like the numbers are cool. I'm grateful. I'm humbled by the numbers. But for me, it's more about the fact that doing this literally saved my life. And if I had any other career, I don't think I'd really manage. Like that when I tell you like the restaurant, like I'm not built for it because like
I mean, I understand that. I mean, it can be hard to work,
Right. And it's not the service or anything like that. It's just that it's not my calling.
Yeah.
So I guess something about being able to, especially when I feel like I finally got good in the last like year. I've been working at it for a long, long, long time, but I feel like I finally figured it out what it is in the last year. And when I get to embody these archetypes, it is empowering in a way that I never understood. It's spiritual. Art is spiritual. I find the two go hand in hand. And each medium kind of teaches you one thing about it that the other easier than another. Like the music kind of teaches you raw emotion, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
Like in just singing can just bring out the emotionality. You don't understand how or why, but it does.
You see the guitars.
I do. That's why I went to that one. Painting, I think, for example, teaches you something about the composition of art. And like there's composition in a song, but it's not the easiest, most intuitive thing. Like the emotion, the raw emotion is easier in that. And so I think composition, and also for me, painting taught me how to accept mistakes as inevitable and part of the art. You see what I'm saying?
I like that a lot.
Every paint stroke is final.
Right.
So like in acting, it's not quite the same thing. It's like, oh man, I could do another take. It's like, no, you already did that paint stroke.
Ooh.
Don't try to redo it. Make a new one. You see what I'm saying? And it's the same, like, ding, and you can go back, but just play the new note and accept it as part of the piece. And I guess for me, acting, the thing that it embodies the best is these archetypal truths that are universal and ancient. Things like a warrior, right? We see those, we know like the warrior like Conan or something like that. Like that is an archetype, and that exists in all of us.
Wow.
And so for me, like the ability to tap into those things that gave me power and freedom, and I got that from watching people. Like I love Brad Pitt, and I don't even know why, but I was just like, he kind of inspired me to be free. And like I was so shy, I couldn't talk to a woman. I was so scared of girls. I was paralyzed. I was scared of everybody, but especially women. And he taught me the archetype of kind of like the Casanova, like the how to be confident, things like that. So I guess for me, the reason why acting specifically has very little to do with the money. I wouldn't have done this if I wanted to be something that made a lot of money securely. I would have done contract law.
Sure.
Because that was a lot of money, and I liked arguing. I would have been good at it, and if it were for the money. But there's a lot of things I can do that I have connection to go do to get money. I know it's never been about the money for me. It's always about living the archetypal truth. And for me, that is the most good I can have is as an actor, I think, personally. Thank you. That's my soapbox.
That was amazing. What's a soapbox?
It's just like, you get on a soapbox and speech. You just preach to the crowd.
I don't know. Tell me.
Never heard that?
No.
That expression, like getting on a soapbox? It's just giving a speech to a crowd. People would like get on the soapbox and get up and be, hear ye.
Wow. That was awesome.
Thanks.
You didn't have to write any of that or anything.
No.
Did you did you just thought of that right now?
Yeah. Oh, it's because it's true. That's the thing. I try to live in as much truth as possible. If it was it good? You liked it?
That was incredible. I felt like, excuse me, that was incredible. I felt like emotional. Like that was moving.
Well, good. That's what I want to do. I mean, that's what I want to do with my life. Is I want people to feel moved and inspired and know that it's going to be okay.
That was awesome. Thanks, bro. I feel like if the podcast ended right there, it would be like that was great.
Cool. All right.
No, guys,
thanks for joining.
No. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you haven't already.
Comment down below what inspires you.
What's your favorite emoji?
What's my favorite emoji?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite.
Okay, comment this guy.
Yeah.
Leave us a comment if you've got to this part. Okay, so I feel like we left off in 2018, right?
Oh, of like my story of how I got here. So 2018.
You worked with them the whole year. You said
pretty much.
Shots?
Yeah, that was Shots.
Right, Shots.
They were doing a lot of productions. I think was that the year? No, it was like the next year. I built a bunch of stuff because they had done a collaboration with Netflix. Okay. But that was 2019. 2018 was mainly just working with them, doing Postmates. I started charging scooters that year, maybe.
Okay.
No, that was 2019.
What for, like Lyft or
Lime?
Okay.
No, that was 2019 because basically I stopped working with them in 2019 after a while.
Okay.
Just
fell off.
They stopped. Like they just took like a couple weeks off of production, which was hard for me because I didn't have another job.
Sure.
I'm trying to even think. Yeah. So another way I kind of subsidize my living is I went to another acting studio, and you kind of have to be in acting classes if you want to be a good actor.
Okay. I've heard of things like that where they make you go once a week at minimum.
Kind of. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like imagine trying to be a professional athlete and you weren't practicing.
Right.
With one of the best coaches.
Sure.
You're going to lose to the people who are practicing with the best coaches.
Right.
Whether or not you can afford them, that's up to you. I was able to subsidize going to class by working for the class.
Oh.
So my teacher would do things like have stage managers, is what he called them. And you would be in charge of setting the schedule and coordinating people, helping them organize how to set up their sets, because we would do like basically like a scene from a play every day. That was a cool studio to be at it for a while. It was cool while I was there. So I was able to get by with that paid for my acting class. Other than that, we lived in a place, me and my roommates. Oh my goodness. It's all coming back to me now. It was 2018. No, 2019 was the year. 2019 was an epic year for me.
Okay.
Epically tragic.
What happened?
2018 is
What do you mean epically? Oh.
tragic.
Oh, no.
It's okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of 2018. I think I mainly just worked with them.
Yeah.
I got like no details. It's all just kind of lost in my head.
I mean, you're again grinding, man. You're
was
working
grind. Yeah.
daily, weekly.
It was probably more often. It was probably more like 3 times a week because I was doing each one of their sets, maybe 3 or 4, depending. I was mainly working with Hannah, Anwar, Lele.
Yeah.
Those 3. Rudy occasionally, but he made videos less often.
Right.
Never really worked for Inanna. They did music videos, anything like that. I was one of their like first calls for PA, which is cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah. So I got to learn firsthand from them and anyone they worked with, like, Batch. Max Goodrich is like a legend. Do you ever meet Max?
No, I've
Everybody
never heard of
knows
Max.
He's another one. You'll just look him up. He just did a video that went super viral recently. Drake's like doing something.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
He's the
That's Max?
That's Max.
Oh, I love that.
Max
I love
is
that.
known for like doing VFX and things like that. He used to work with Jake Paul back in the day. He's like founded, I think, Team 10 with Jake Paul.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look him up. Look him up. Max is real cool. He might actually hop on this podcast. He's one of those guys who would enjoy this, and he'd have a great story, a bunch of stories.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out to him for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
No, you're welcome, dude. And he's cool. He's chill. He's accessible too. So like he's open to things like this. He's not like too good for it.
Okay. You know what I'm struggling with on TikTok is like knowing where people are located. So like I don't know to reach out to them if I don't know what state they're in. You know, it's like
You can always ask, right?
starting with friends first, basically.
Oh, nice. And then
Yeah.
you'll kind of reach out from there.
Yeah.
Have you published these yet?
Yeah, I have 9. Actually, the 9th one posts at 1:00 today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you're getting stockpiled ahead,
Yeah.
so you don't get behind and miss one.
Yes.
That's a very smart strategy.
That's the strategy, man.
That's a smart strategy. That way, if you get behind, you have like a stockpile.
Like 2 weeks ago, I went to New Jersey. The week before, I was in Florida. So like, thankfully, I already had the videos ready, and I'll edit yours like basically the week of your video being posted.
Nice. Well, I
So,
look forward to this one.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully, nothing tragic
Me too, me
happens
too.
in the meantime.
Well, I hope so too. What?
I don't know. Bro, I'm just man. I think about death a lot.
Wow.
So-
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it's ever present.
Well, I'm like almost scared to think about death
Why?
because it's ever present.
But that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die.
Dang, bro, you sound.
I'm not sad about it. I'm not obsessed with my own death. I'm aware of it.
Well, it's a scary thing to think about, I guess.
Is it?
Yeah. Is this the?
No, I don't know.
Well-
Does it make you nervous?
Yeah, I think so.
Why?
Because it's something we just don't know. You know, it's gonna happen. When it's gonna happen. How it's gonna happen. What happens after?
And does
Something happen after?
any of that make a difference? You're still dead.
Yeah.
And I think the truth of that is like you're not here anymore.
You know, I guess the pain of it happening when it happens. I
You
think
think it's
that's
gonna hurt?
I'm afraid it's gonna hurt. What are you gonna do? You know?
Well, could be worse.
Yeah.
I think there are worse things than dying.
Like what?
I don't know if I should say them.
Okay. You know what?
You can definitely live hell.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
I
You
think
could live heaven too.
kind of.
It's like this is what we make it.
That's true.
This
You can
reality.
you can live.
Like
you
this
can-
is all of our. This is my choice. This is your choice. you know?
Absolutely. But sometimes there are things that happen beyond your choice and control.
Yeah.
That's hell.
Yeah.
But you can choose to enjoy heaven. Like sometimes I go for a hike in Runyon and it's like just gorgeous out.
Sure.
And I wonder if this is actually heaven. If it's just moments like these.
Exactly.
These are waking up and I see my little dog's face. I'm like, this is like heaven.
Exactly.
Right. I think the dualities of them can exist.
Yeah.
Neither of them comfort the notion of death because it's going to end.
Yeah.
I guess what it is too, and I've had friends die.
Wow.
Relatives die. Everyone has
same,
people die,
yeah.
right? And then for me, it's just like, okay, it's not over for them. Like it is for them, but it could happen.
Damn.
And I try to be aware of it, so I know not to live as if I'm never going to, and it helps me, I think, regret fewer moments.
That is what this clock is for. That you see here, there's a second clock. Do you see this other one?
No, I don't. Yeah. What
It's
is
just
that?
like a day counter. It's counting down until something happens. And it's kind of that. I want to say I'd been inspired by a video where something like they were talking about this topic.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking that something like this would inspire me to keep like it on my mind that things are coming up and you never know.
Is it like a birthday countdown?
No, it's not a birthday. Actually, it's for me to leave LA and go to New Jersey.
Oh, you're leaving LA?
Well, I leave every summer for like 3 months. So
Oh, wow. That's big.
yeah,
Are you going to sublease this place?
no,
No?
unfortunately, I'm just keep it. Just
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, that's
I'll
good.
be back.
I mean, if you're in a financial position to maintain it, that's great.
That's the plan. Yeah,
Nice.
but that's like the closest thing I have to even thinking about death. You know, in a way, in a small way, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I also am just spiritual, so that kind of helps me just know, like, or at least give faith and comfort so it doesn't drive me crazy.
Yeah. Has that thinking, the spirituality and that thinking connected to you as an actor?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I said, art is spiritual. And I guess it's motivated me to be honest and true with everything I do, especially my art. Just because if I'm doing anything that's not genuine and true, I wouldn't want that to be my reflection. When I die, like on my obituary, do they want to be like, oh, he did this sticky thing?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool. He can, just cool. I mean, and a lot of that works on social media. Like I know, and I'm sure we have friends who do those sort of things. And I have no judgment for it because that's for everybody. Maybe that's their truth. But for me, it's not. Yeah. I guess it just makes me want to be honest.
I like honesty. Honesty is a good thing to do.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd regret it.
So, I mean, that's important to think about when you're creating content, making sure the type of content you want is what you want to put out. That's a big weight that can, like a big responsibility that we have as content creators or actors at all.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I 100% agree. Content, because you won't be able to sustain it if it's not honest and if it's not true. You can only put up a front for so long and it comes crashing down and people see through the front.
Ooh.
I think they really, really do, especially with like Instagram made it easier because it was a photo and like the videos were shorter. But now that we have live streaming on TikTok's one hell of a platform. Like YouTube, sure, but TikTok, just like if you're not honest and raw, see through it. I don't know how they do, but people are smart. They're getting smarter and smarter. I feel like generationally. There's
like skits people do, and people can see through the skits now. Now it's been decloaked or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
It used to be people used to like that kind of shtick.
Yeah.
But now it's like, no, you got to be honest with us.
I think it's come down to authenticity in your personality, and that needs to come through as a content creator. Otherwise, your longevity of being on this platform is very short.
Right. But that's always been true.
Yeah.
I think it's been true in television. It's been true the radio less so. Any sort of art form like that, if you're not being authentic the whole way through, it has a time period because somebody else will come up with the next sort of gimmick that's better than your gimmick, and it's the hot new gimmick.
Every week, man.
Every week. And
every day.
We see that on social media. Someone has a new gimmick that comes and goes.
Right.
Because it's not authentic and it's not honest and it's not sustainable.
It's just the hot new thing.
It's a hot new gimmick and it'll be cool and it may have a lot of hype and steam, but it dies out.
But that's different than like AI. Have you been following along with Chat GPT at all?
I've not. I've been seeing it pop up like crazy, but what is it?
Great. What do you okay.
Give me the rundown. It's like an AI, open AI, right? For an AI that can like chat with you, right?
It is. How about this? I'll save it for the end to get to it, and I'll show you a little example. I'll bring it over here.
Cool. This is cool, by the way.
It is. Thank you. I love it. That was my TV, and I just was laying in bed, and I'm like, man, I need because I didn't have it in like the first episode, and I was like, just had this random TV in the room. Like,
that's great.
Yeah, no, it works. Yeah,
it's like so high tech in here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
But yeah, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, Well, something like ChatGPT. Well, I don't know how I connected the two. I was connecting the two somehow.
Content, the shtick, the gimmick that comes and goes.
Yeah, yeah. So this is like a new. It's not a new gimmick. This is the problem with the internet in a way is like there's so much information happening, so it's kind of hard to know what we should pay attention to. And then also like we don't want to get left behind. So something like ChatGPT just came out. They've crossed over 100 million users in like 2 months since they've came out.
Jesus,
which is insane, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it needs to hit some sort of point that is like you can't ignore it, and that point happened very quickly. And here I am telling you about it. What is it?
Yeah.
It's an amazing piece of technology that you can like ask questions or be like, write me a script.
Okay.
Or
I've seen AI like this before.
But
Yeah.
it's like next level.
Like really good.
Like it's very good. It's very, very good.
The-
I'll show you, and then I'll just cut the video up if we need to. So, for example, I said I had questions I had to ask my guest yesterday.
Yeah.
So here I said my guest today is Chaz. He's an actor who works for a large YouTube channel that makes skits around teaching lessons to people. Like I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
He has gained 2 million followers somehow making videos. I'd love to learn how he grew his audience. Help me write 20 questions I should ask him.
And you asked me these?
I actually, honestly, I didn't ask any of these specifically, but I had these just in case, you know.
How did you get started working for this YouTube channel? Was your role when you first joined? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right?
That's pretty intelligent. Yeah.
Right? How about it? This is the most intelligent part is now write a poem about the questions I should ask. Watch how fast it does it. This is the craziest part. Literally a poem.
The secrets that Chaz does hold. How did he build his following and create content that never grows old?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But you could also use this. You can like copy documents and put it into it and be like, summarize this for me.
That's fantastic.
Or like I've seen people use it in like arguments or trying to get better money from brands, you know, as like your own manager to reword those emails.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I've used it for like YouTube intros for these episodes.
Yeah. And do you like them?
I like them. I've shown it to my dad. He was like, oh, it's good. You know,
that's crazy.
I also, what else I use it for? YouTube's descriptions, all the YouTube descriptions I've used so far, questions for these podcasts. So like things like that. Yeah.
You know, that's not surprising to me. Just because I'm a big believer in everything we do is cumulative and nothing's original.
Well, this is like gonna connect that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is the embodiment of that sort of process. However, you can only tune it so much. That's the one thing. Like you still have to do the input.
You do. There's a big, a lot of importance put on the prompt engineering right now. So you have to be good at giving it prompts, and then it will give you better information.
Nice. So that's like that same kind of. I guess that's same. There's still a skill to be had. Yeah, it definitely makes it easier.
Yeah, because like I could go in and say, let's see, you talk about praise and disdain, and I can say, you know what, instead of praise and disdain, talk more about this, and like you
modify
could
it as it goes.
Yeah, modify as it goes. You could
like a really obedient like assistant.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Like an instant assistant.
That's incredible. How much does this cost?
Well, they have a free version. They also have that one like will sometimes it's full and you can't access it. And this one is $20 a month. You get like
not bad.
Fast. You can use it whenever you want.
That's less than AMC movie pass.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Here, write a script for YouTube. This is the other thing. It understands that we were talking about you, about this.
So it'll take the context with it?
Yeah, so it took the context with it.
That's pretty cool. That's the B-roll. That's fantastic.
Or maybe I was supposed to, you know, I didn't
include it with
with
the prompt. It might have just taken a new prompt.
Yeah, it's just like I'm going to write a YouTube video.
But if you'd said like, if you had done like something like that, would it reference the same thing?
Yeah, let's do write a. What do you want it to be about?
A script about guitars and a bodybuilder.
All right, guitars and
How
bodybuilding.
these passions connect.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about two of my biggest passions, guitars and bodybuilding. You might think that these two have nothing in common, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye.
That's exactly what they all say.
All right, you're the presenter.
I can't quite say this though. Let's see. Whether you're strumming chords or playing. Oh, wrong one. First things first, let's talk about guitars. As a musician, I love the feeling of a beautiful instrument and creating music. But what you might not know is that playing the guitar can also be a great workout for your arms, for your hands and arms. In fact, many professional guitarists have incredibly strong fingers and forearms from years of practice and performance. It's great.
Oh, I'd be curious to see what you might do with something like this in your back pocket as an actor. How would you consider using this technology to help with skits, maybe?
Yeah, you could totally, right? Like sometimes like the skits and whatnot tend to be lower quality and more about just quantity and pumping it out. I could see this being a very useful tool for creators. Just if you're like, hey, give me a skit about like a recent upcoming topic and your brain's just fried because
that's it.
Whatever else, boom. Because you don't need much. And like these things don't really have to be super original.
Right.
People don't ask for a lot with YouTube. YouTube's more like popcorn content. That's what I kind of call it.
Okay.
It's things that are about now and less about. So there's, and I don't mean this insultingly to people on social media. It's just that there's always kind of dualities. And at least when I study, looking back on history and art, there's two main forms. There's kind of like art that is like high art, things that transcend time, and they're not really popular. There are popular, they can be, but they're not necessarily the popular thing. And then there's like
this, I'm gonna put myself in this first category.
No.
With this podcast, that's kind of what
it could be. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going
for because you're going for depth and meaningful things.
Yeah.
And then there's high quality, low quantity is what I'm gonna call high art. Things like a Broadway play. You know what I'm saying? Like Eugene O'Neill. That's a name that lasts. I don't know if you know, or Shakespeare.
Sure.
Right? Like that's a name that lasts, and he does things that, yes, he has like a crazy library, but it's all very, very high, and there's very few Shakespeares. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
A little bit of it has to do with quantity, but mostly it's about quality. Like the Mona Lisa. I don't mean it as an insult, but there is things, then there's things that are more about quantity than quality.
Yeah.
And it's about doing the thing, getting the thing out the fastest. Like news is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like you don't really watch a news report from a year ago.
Sure.
Right? There's things that kind of come and die. Popcorn.
Yeah.
Like popcorn's fresh for that day, and then it's bad.
Ooh, great example.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why I call it popcorn content, because it's also things it's kind of got a dual purpose.
It's got
things
I
get
like
stale
that.
quick.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's the thing like a statue that's going to be
right
over time. And I think the thing that makes the most money is always the popcorn content.
Interesting.
It always makes more money.
What about a movie? You know, comparison.
It depends. Have you seen the film Babylon?
No,
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a movie for people who make art or people who make movies specifically.
Okay.
But I think you could kind of see some of the things that are happening in there, because it's interesting. The silent films reminded me a lot of social media, because they have a whole section in there where there's a bunch of different sets all out in the desert, and you can't hear anything. Basically, they're out in the desert and there's a bunch of different sets, and it reminded me about going to an event where people are doing social media content, because everybody's just doing content in this one area and they have their frame.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know whether this is factual or not, but it makes sense to me, and I think there's at least a kernel of truth, because I trust Damien Chazelle as a filmmaker. Do you know who he is? La La Land.
Oh, well, I love La La Land, of course.
Same director. Whiplash. Same director.
Oh, dude, Whiplash.
It's fantastic.
Oh my God.
It's fantastic. And these are movies, like the reason why Babylon's also a great example.
Wait a second. He also did Babylon also?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
I gotta see it then.
The marketing did not do a good job on that.
Dang.
But point being, this film is one of those films that I think is like high art. It was shot on film. The writing is fantastic. But it's movies that aren't going to be popular. It's not Top Gun. Top Gun's
don't get me started about Top Gun.
It's good.
No,
I liked it.
No,
it's Star Wars Episode 4.
No, I just saw Top Gun like a month ago, and I have a very strong opinion about it.
What is
the first scene of that movie where he's jumping out? You're telling me he went 10.6, Mach 10.6, and hopped out of the plane and landed? Yeah. No.
Yes.
No.
Popcorn, baby. Popcorn.
Bro.
Popcorn. Movie.
I immediately I saw it at my friend's house, and I was like, I don't even want to watch the rest.
Right. And it
Are you kidding me?
$1 billion plus how much? 1.5?
That was
1.5. Something like that.
That's insane.
Billion with a B.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not high art. No, we all know that. But it got nominated for Best Picture. No offense to Tom Cruise or any of the films.
No offense to them. No.
It was incredible.
It was incredible. It was amazing.
The fact that it's all filmed real. I think people appreciate that. And
totally.
I like the effort that goes into it.
Yeah.
But that
was the only reason I finished the movie. I was like, I have to see. I got to watch.
It's cool. I liked it in theaters. Theaters was pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Yeah. It's cool to see, for me personally, I think it's refreshing, because I think we've gotten such a culture of, America's bad.
Sure.
It's refreshing to see some film and be like, God damn it, I don't know who we're fighting, but we'll fucking win. You know? I think that was part of the appeal of that film.
Right. And you see our Navy and look at all those ships and planes. It's amazing.
Great.
Yeah.
God bless America.
Yeah.
So that's part of the appeal of that movie, which isn't necessarily something that lasts forever.
Right.
There are things that talk about universal truths. Like, I think Lord of the Rings is one of those movies that's really good universal truths. Like, because it talks about good versus evil.
Right.
Like, that's a perfectly done archetypal series.
Yeah.
And then there are things that do take some modern things. I don't know. It's just like Parks and Rec is another popcorn thing.
Love Parks and Rec.
Love it.
Yeah.
We all love it.
I watched it like whatever it came out. You know,
right. Maybe we'll
long
watch
time
it.
ago.
We'll love it. Maybe a generation will love it. Do you know what I Love Lucy is?
Sure.
Do you?
Of course.
You know of it, right? Have you seen it?
Yes. Not the movie, but like the TV show.
The TV show.
Yeah.
Right. Lucille Ball.
Yeah. Man.
Right. Phenomenally popular. It's a great show, and it's the best form of popcorn content.
Interesting.
Right. Because, and we know about it, but do you think the average person our age does?
Maybe not.
I would bet not. But we're in like the entertainment industry, and maybe they know of it, but have they seen it, and do they like it?
It's very interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and social media is in that same sort of thing. Like, would you watch a video that was super viral 10 years ago?
You mean like, wait, would I watch a viral video 10 years ago, or now?
Now, a 10-year-old video that went viral 10 years ago.
Only if it was put in my face on this platform that I'm already consuming, right?
Right. So those are the kind of things where I find it's more like popcorn.
What
come and go.
What made it through the cracks? What doesn't make it through?
Right. Which brings me back to my point of like why I like acting and those sort of things.
And Babylon. Yeah.
Babylon, because I want to aspire for the high art of things. Like Babylon did terrible at the box office. Lost money, I'm pretty sure. I blame that on the marketing. I think the marketing did a bad job. It could have had a better appeal.
Exactly that.
Right. Did you even know it was about silent movies at all?
No.
Exactly. That's the marketing. The marketing did a really bad job. It's about like these three people mainly who go through the changing times of silent films to talkies.
Right. Talkies, which are movies.
Movies.
Yeah.
Right. The early forms of movies.
Yeah.
It was really interesting. The silent films were kind of like the popcorn content of the time because they just pump out these movies, as many as they could, and they get to millions of people, and it's important and it's meaningful and it's impactful. And Brad Pitt has a speech in there that's fantastic. He talks about how important it is to people, and it matters because millions of people go out and see the things that they do. Nobody sees the thing like the Eugene O'Neill play. You know, like if you have 100,000 people, that's the play of the century. And if you have 100,000 people see a movie, it's a flop. If you have 100,000 people see your video on TikTok, it's kind of a flop. It depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
But for like a big creator, it's like, dude, if I don't get 1 million views on my video, I'm kind of like, damn.
Right.
Like I posted one, you know, where because I got stitches. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I can't even see it here. I saw. Yeah.
Did you see it?
I've been following along.
Got it.
I saw.
Right. Because I busted my face, and like that one only got like 100,000 views. And I'm like, dang, it's kind of a flop.
Well, now I would argue that's about consistency and.
Right, but my last two videos got like 2 million views each. Granted, they were about the drama.
What? Oh yeah.
They were about the drama going on. So I mean, I understand why.
Yeah.
And like to be honest, 100,000 was probably overshooting for how consistent I am.
Right.
But it's still kind of like, 100,000 is kind of like a flop. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry,
No.
I'm going in circles at this point.
It's okay.
Does it seem like there's a through line going on?
I feel like there is.
I don't know.
I mean, bro, it's your life. It's where we are. You know.
That's true.
This is what we're talking about. You know, it's gonna be different next time.
Oh yeah,
know?
for sure.
A year from now.
This is how you know it's not scripted. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I love stuff like this. You know, and also I feel like there is not a lot of content on the internet like this that I watch, at least. Like, I
wouldn't think so. I think a lot of people are scared to share that fact.
Just
like a lot of
to be in that realm online, like this vulnerability. I love this.
Sure, the vulnerability. I meant more like the information of how to be a content creator, because people always want to monetize that.
Yeah.
Do you ever see like those classes and things? I mean, Hustle University is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Trump University is kind of like that too. It's like, oh, hey, we'll teach you how to be a business person. And I feel like people have like how to be content creator as a course.
Bro, I'm gonna make a content creator course.
Right. It's just because people don't want and there's no shame on it.
Yeah.
It's just people want to monetize that. That's why you probably don't see this as a wide open thing. Gary Vee might be the best example of it though. He gives away a lot of free advice on how to be successful, and that's why he's successful.
Right.
Because I think that's the number one advantage that Gary Vee has, is the fact that
Gary Vee
gives away
actually
a lot of advice.
Bro, he had mentioned it in a book that a girl on Musical.ly had 20 million followers, and I was like, what is Musical.ly?
Oh yeah.
Back in like May of 2018.
Damn.
You know, or March or whenever it was. And I was like, I downloaded it. And that's how I had heard about Musically, and then Musically turned into TikTok. I didn't talk to you about that. How did you even hear about TikTok? Why are you posting on TikTok?
Right. It was weird, bro. I got like a DM.
Oh, a DM.
I got a DM from
Okay.
like, a random account. It had like a cat as a photo. It must have been like an early TikTok employee. But I had also done, I think they also owned Vigo Video. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, I've heard Vigo.
I think Vigo was owned by the same company. I'm not sure. No,
I don't think so. No, different companies.
So?
Yeah.
Different company.
Yeah.
It seemed like the same.
Maybe I'm wrong. Actually.
I don't know. I think it might have been like an early kind of beta test, and it just didn't go well because they did the same thing, kind of like trying to pay creators, but obviously it didn't merge with Musically.
Yeah, maybe they were competitors to Musically.
It could be. It could be. I have no idea, but I had done Vigo a little bit and gained like a little bit of a following.
Yeah,
and somebody had said they recruited me.
Okay.
And it's like, hey, post on TikTok and I'll push the levers to push your video.
Ooh.
And I was like, okay. I did it. And I got like 100,000 views on my first video.
Whoa.
Which for me at the time, I was not big. I had like 20,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
Maybe another like 25 or like, I think I got like 50 on Vigo Video. You know?
Yeah.
So I was not a big creator, but I had a lot of exposure from being like in Anwar and Hannah's videos, because in Layla's videos and Rudy's videos, I'd starred in a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I think my face, even now, people on my last video, someone's like, oh, who is the So You See guy? I know you from Lele Ponds.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
The So You See guy?
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant.
Oh, it's Darman. It's like code for Darman.
Okay.
Because there's like beef with us.
Okay, got it.
That's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I got lucky. Maybe they saw me from one of those, and a lot of the comments were that. And then I did a couple of videos. One of my buddies, Santi, was like, yo, dude, why don't you just like do videos with those people since you're like friends with them? Like just grab a quick TikTok or like do a quick video while you're on set with them.
Yeah.
I was nervous and like I didn't feel, it was worked on my self-worth, and I was like, oh, I didn't feel like if I ask for them, they're going to be weirded out and not hire me as a PA anymore.
Yeah.
They think I'm just about
hey, that's actually reasonable. Like that's very understandable.
Why I worked
that's probably
so
right
long.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably why I worked with them so long. And then I did a couple of them. Like I wrote a web series for Twan. Do you know who Twan is?
Don't know Twan.
He's like Lele's best friend, blonde, handsome Dutch guy. But he produced it, and like I did some TikToks with him. They went kind of viral.
Was there anything that you did to like get to 1 million followers specifically? Like, were you being consistent or what?
I tried. So here's the thing. I did. I got like 100,000 100,000 followers really fast.
Okay.
Like I think this was like
was that
2019?
Yeah.
2018. Like when was TikTok first?
2018 at the end.
Right. So I think I got like 100,000 followers around that, or maybe it was like early 2019.
Sure.
I guess
same actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got, because I just instantly had 100,000 followers, and I was like, oh wow, this is cool, and it's too easy. And I was like, whatever. I don't really like it, because for me, it's never been about the followers and stuff. I looking back on it, I wish I would have pushed a little more, because the money'd be nice. Yeah. You know, because I know they make a lot of money, and I could have probably been one of the big early faces, but
it's also about being on all of the platforms. Like it's hard to make just like a living off just this one. Sure. You have to also be big on YouTube or Facebook. I mean, if you're Snapchat,
big on YouTube, then you're solid.
Yeah.
If you're big on YouTube, you make.
Yeah, I don't honestly know enough about that.
Oh, I can tell you.
That's the dream.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's the dream.
That's the one where you make your bread and butter. Except now Shorts is paying
dollars.
Shorts is paying okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like if you got like 1 million views on YouTube, the lowest I've ever heard is $2,000
on a million long form video.
Even like a minute video. Sure, long form, but like wide. But
right.
If you had an ad and it was even if like a minute, you made at least $2,000. It can be much more. I've heard as high as $30,000.
Whoa! No way.
Depends on your CPM.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's like it's crazy, bro. And so
I got to figure out who my audience is, man.
Right. And
I don't know
things like retention rate, how long your videos are. Like if you get over 8 minutes, you get multiple ads.
Bro, my videos are however long.
Right. Podcasts are great for that.
Yeah.
You can also do built-in ads. Like there's lots of different. Like I know the ways to monetize. Like when I'm saying I've learned the business, I learned the business.
See, bro, you probably know more about this than I do, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like no, I'm sure you know a lot of different aspects, but I know a lot as well. I'm sure
I know.
We have a pretty good collective
TikTok,
knowledge.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. How to not so much YouTube for some reason. It's like the worst, but
it's the hardest to grow. That's why.
Yeah,
it's so saturated. Because the money's the best there, so it's going to be the hardest to grow. This is what I tell people. Anyone who wants to get an audience, I don't know if this is something you've had. What in my experience is, go to the platform that monetizes the least, easiest to grow.
Ooh, it's TikTok.
Well, it was.
I mean,
it's harder.
It's definitely getting harder to grow on TikTok. I've been noticing.
Yes, like getting like my first 100,000. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
Nobody cared. Nobody was even thinking about monetizing it. Grew 100,000 easily. And now for me to grow 100,000, I gotta like be in a big fight with Darman and do like, super viral videos on that.
Well, I'm gonna argue that you could do it otherwise if you wanted to. I know you.
I'm just saying, like,
you're good at.
I grew like 100,000 just from that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was as easy as it was back then.
Right.
And I didn't have to put in this kind of crazy work. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you play any instruments?
No. I mean, I tried to learn guitar. I didn't get very far.
Do you have a guitar?
I do. I was moving around a lot when I lived with Dom because we were only in that house. Did you ever come by the house?
What do you mean you live with Dom?
Other Dom. We used to for 3
Dom
months.
Andre?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. When you came and filmed the thing in the desert, I was living with him, Peaks, Michaela, dancer.
Wow.
You know Michaela?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about the platforms about the easiest one to grow on. At the time was TikTok.
I still think it probably is balanced out. For a while, I think YouTube Shorts was a great opportunity.
Dude.
Now it's going to be harder again. It's still easy. You probably have a couple more months before people really catch on that you can monetize on it.
Were you able to grow an audience on YouTube Shorts at all?
Yeah. I grew at least like 10,000. I have 70,000 on YouTube.
Whoa, all right.
So I grew at least 10 to 20, maybe 30,000. I had like a couple videos, just get a couple million.
Damn.
And it just brings it to your page and... Yeah, but it was before it was monetized, so
I got no luck on YouTube. I've been posting before.
Yeah, with the shorts,
even in their like beta program. Like,
yeah,
like a year and a half ago, I was posting like 5 times a day, and like nothing, man.
Oh, you got to get your brand up.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
I don't know.
Do your best.
How else? What? That's okay.
Well, I mean. So this is what I always do. I'm really good at analytics, not necessarily the numbers, but I'm good at finding patterns. I'm good at finding patterns out of abstract things. That's why I think is a unique advantage with me as an actor and as a content creator.
Sure. Maybe that's also why you've been successful with this, also because that attitude with creating content helps a lot to be able to post something, look at the analytics, figure out what you did, and now work and make a new something.
Absolutely. Well, part of it is that I try to just put my head down. I get an idea from the abstract, and then I put my head down and I work, and then I kind of come up, and then I take a look at what happened from mine, and then I see if my theory worked.
Okay.
And I adjust my theory as I go.
Okay.
I think I'm doing a pretty good job. So I'm gonna write a book on this one. I think it's a really good idea.
Okay.
Nobody's stealing this, but I think there's like only a certain number of ways to break into any industry, social media included. For me, it's like acting is the one that makes the most sense. All you have to do is just look at, and it doesn't even have to be your specific industry because I think it's general truths about all of them, but find something comparable for social media. Because for me, social media, like this is where I'm getting real abstract. Social media is to television what television is to the radio. Television killed the radio. Radio's still around, but television ate everything that it was.
Right.
It's the popcorn platform. You see what I'm saying? It's the things that come and go. News used to just be on the radio. Now it's on television. Now we're seeing news moved to social media, right?
Dude, yeah.
And then movies used to be like, movies kind of ate what Broadway had. Broadway was the place where you went for high art. Now high art's kind of in the films. And now you have Netflix and HBO Max, these television series that are basically sagas. They're it's like a movie every episode.
Yeah.
They've eaten, in my opinion, the movie market. The movie market's still fighting a little bit. It's a slower transition, but social media has completely decimated the popcorn area. Like that's where those kind of dualities live.
So now it's on social media.
Right. And so what you can do is break down those strategies that worked for television and bring them to social media. Like what we're doing now is kind of the equivalent of a talk show.
Exactly.
Right. And the talk show was a talk show from the radio.
Right.
See, nothing's new.
Right.
Nothing is new. So all you have to do is break down the strategies and what worked in the talk show era. What has someone done in the talk show era that they haven't done on social media, and what aligns with what I want to do. You see, like, and
love that idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm good at this.
That's very interesting to think about what was working on radio and now bring it into this.
Right, because
year.
this is a radio.
Yeah.
Look at
I didn't even think about
Howard
it like
Stern.
that.
What does Howard Stern do? He's sensationalized. You don't have to do that.
No, I'm trying to stay
you
away
don't
from
have
that.
to at all. But you have to do something that works. Right. So what do you want to do? Do you want to Joe Rogan it? He's already on the platform, so you got to do something slightly different than that. But what's his biggest strength? His biggest strength is he's a good listener.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan is basically like Oprah for men.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you are a good listener. You do have that strength. Part of it's self-awareness too. But basically, all you have to do is break down what somebody, and like I said, just break down, do you want to be like Ellen, but for social media? Do you want to be like Jimmy Fallon, but for social media? What's the difference between Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel? And they're on social media, right? They repost their clips. The sketch comedies. Who did sketch comedies at the highest level of popcorn? SNL. Television, right? So what did SNL do right? And I guarantee, and this is something I learned from John Shahidi. Because John Shahidi, Johnny and Sammy,
no?
the Godfathers.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
They taught me a lot of these attitudes because one of the things they worked on with Lele is, all right, Lele, Charlie Chaplin. Or not Chapman. Charlie Chaplin.
Chaplin.
Right, you do Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
Because Lele's thing was falling all the time before. And Charlie Chaplin was the king of physical comedy. He did a good transition to talkies, but he was still one of the greatest actors of all time. And what worked in the silent films works on social media because they're in the same category. Popcorn content.
Also what works with the silent films, they transcend language. Right.
That's why it's just about being popular. But it's not high art. Those things don't last forever. Have you ever seen a Chapman film or Chaplin?
Yes, actually, I have. Right. Yes,
I have too.
Yes,
that one. Like there are very few pieces of popcorn content that do last, but they only last because they have that spark of high art with them. And there's a quality to quantity. Russia talks about it. Like the country Russia kind of coined that one. You ever hear that one? World War, I think it's World War I or World War II. They're like, oh yeah, the Russian, like there's a quality in quantity because they would just throw just men into war.
No, never heard.
You've never heard that?
Never heard that, but I mean, I hate to say it, I relate to that sentence, but that's how I tell people about posting on TikTok. Find something you can do that's quality, but in quantity.
Right. You know? The highest quality you could do in quantity.
Yes. That's
popcorn. Because this is social media, is the popcorn platform.
Right.
And if you do the highest quality you can and you get flashes of it. But I mean, that's the difference between just doing a thing like 1,000 times versus like over 1,000 days working on one film. Like which one's going to have an edge on the lasting forever? The one that you thought about 1,000 days and had like people dissecting.
Right.
It's of course going to be a higher caliber thing because you had so much more time, but you can only do it if you have the money to do it. It's more expensive and it's more likely to fail.
Yeah.
So if you want to make money and have a long career, like quantity's the smarter choice.
Is this only right now, would you say?
That's forever.
Yeah.
It's always been that way. Shakespeare used to complain about these plays that people put up on the side of the road.
What?
Yeah, bro.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, people just put up like a play on the side of the road and just do like, it's like they're not real actors, you know, they're like just people, but they'd probably make more money throughout the day on the side of the road rather than like going to an opera house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the opera houses, would have been the highest form of art, just the whole orchestra and just the finest singers. And then you'll have somebody singing and busking on the side of the road. Like busking has been around forever. That's like the popcorn version of it. See, when I'm talking about these dualities of art, like have always existed, but you need both. They're both important. One's not better than the other. It's just some people are called to one or the other. But if you want to make money, it's always better to do quantity over quality.
That was cool, man. You're great with these. What were you calling it? Soapbox?
Just like a speech, like a soapbox speech. I mean, I've thought about this a lot.
Dang.
I've been exposed to a lot because I was a PA.
Yeah.
I'm kind of invisible. Becoming, getting the followers and things, you start to become not as invisible. But even now, when I go to the social media things, I don't have one of those personalities. Like I'm kind of understated as a personality. Like I'm quieter. Sometimes I can be loud, but generally in crowds and things, I don't. I'm pretty introverted. So people don't come up to me and want the things as much. And I can listen and watch and observe a lot more. And people say things around me that they don't expect me to hear and remember.
Like what would you say you're watching, you said?
Mm-hmm. And because I'm not going, when I go to like networking things, I'm not going for attention. A lot of these people I think are in social media for attention and they like the attention, and that's not bad because there's money in attention. And attention from people who command attention gets you attention. It's the transactional nature of it. I don't really, but like I said, that's not my goal. So I tend to be able to operate and observe more carefully.
So you've got like a more business minded around it. You're kind of paying attention to the production more?
It could be. It's more, I just observe. And so I learn. Because if you're not performing and because some of these people show up to these events, you know what I'm talking about, right? When people come in like, I'm a star.
Yeah.
Here, they're performing. Yeah. And so they're watching their own performance.
Right.
And kind of after their own performance.
You're kind of sitting back and.
Right. And I don't know if you noticed, but I don't tend to do that. And I'm not on them, but this is why I have the information, is because I'm not performing, I'm watching. And I'm watching the people who actually know. Because sometimes people go just as kind of like an ego trip, because that's social media can be a big ego trap. It's just like, oh, I'm famous, but you don't understand, bro. I've seen people who are much more famous and they go away. It doesn't last forever. Fame is so temporary. So, like, look at somebody as big as Courtney Cox in the 90s. Massive. Nobody's bigger. But now she's collabing on social media with like influencers and stuff, trying to get a following. And she's still very famous. But I see kids freak out over an influencer more than like Courtney Cox. No offense to Courtney. Fame ebbs and flows, and it depends, because like you can be famous to one generation and nobody knows who you are to another. Do you know who Gregory Peck is?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. Do you know who Audrey Hepburn is?
Yeah.
Right. So he used to work with her a lot.
Ooh.
He did Roman Holidays with her. Roman Holiday, which is I think she won her first Oscar for. And she's one of those because she became a cultural icon and a staple beyond, and she started in high art, but she became a cultural staple. He didn't, but he was very, very famous for his time. Ask your grandma. She knows who Gregory Peck is. She knows.
I wish. Yeah.
Right. So that's what a lot of these people don't get. And I digress. Popcorn people come and go. Like,
so do you think this is like the popcorn generation right now?
No.
It's just always.
Wow. This is just true of people. And I believe that to be true just through my analysis.
So I'm curious, what do you think where it's going?
Where it's going?
What is this all leading up to? Where's it going?
In what sense?
In like social media, is it a bubble and it's going to burst?
No, but a thing will come along and eat it. But it's got like, I mean, how long did television took over mainstream late 60s, early 70s?
So it's got a long...
You got 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. And then halfway through, you get like, it's the rest of our generation.
But then we have things like ChatGPT that show up and they mass this audience in 2 months, man. Like,
sure, it's not the content distributor. It might manufacture.
What about VR? What about that?
It's too early. It's too early to take over. That's like trying to say like social. That's like saying MySpace killed television.
Yeah.
MySpace didn't kill television.
No,
it was just the first iteration.
Yeah.
Of it. Facebook kind of did. YouTube really did. TikTok is kind of killing YouTube. So I think it'll happen at those micro levels. Yeah. But social media will be the thing. And now it's more like TikTok is CW and Warner Brothers. And I'm stealing this straight from Gary Vee. So I can't even say I came up with this, but I think he's right.
Okay.
YouTube is like a Netflix, but that's kind of more an internet company. But YouTube is like Paramount, or like Universal Pictures. They're the channels, and you just flip to your favorite shows on those channels, and it'll be which channels are popular over time. And that's kind of how it's going, and that's why I see it. And like the direct parallels with television makes sense. It's going to be different. I don't know what the new platform is going to be beyond that. Like, it's going to be very difficult to imagine. I can only imagine it's probably something like a really advanced VR. And once again, this is a take I heard from Gary Vee. I think he's right. People are like, our kids are going to wear like a VR contact in like 20 years.
Sure.
30 years. It's going to be like 30-year-old.
Connected.
Right. And they're just going to be literally, their whole body's going to be immersed. Maybe they'll have an implant to make it even more realistic. Lord knows.
Right.
That will it'll have to be something like that, kind of a quantum leap in technology for it to really have a change. For now, social media is more permanent, I think. It'll switch between them, but the technology of social media will be the dominant technology for at least 20 to 30 years. It depends on how fast VR develops. I mean, catch me in like 5-10 years and see what I say. It's all about, for now, I don't see the technology coming for quite some time. I'm like, bro, my hair must just be like messing up on the headphone. I did not realize that this thing was giving me a head massage the whole time.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it was cool.
I sat there the other day. I realized that is really just in.
There we go.
That is
That's
just
better.
there.
Sorry, was I going to mess with your edit?
No, you're good. No, you're good.
But yeah, I don't even know where we left off.
Bro, we were going off into outer space.
Do you want me to finish up my timing of my
whatever you want. Yeah, actually, I mean, yeah.
I'll get through.
We talked about that a little bit.
I'll give you 2019 and beyond.
Okay.
Because it all kind of simplifies after 2019.
Okay.
That year was rough.
Whoa.
So I moved out. Super depressed. That's when I first went to therapy and kind of started working on my issues. And I started feeling better about myself and getting to the core of why I do the things I do and why I pick the people I pick. I also started acting for Darman that year. Later that year, it was about 6 months later. I started acting for Darman, and then that's when I started dating my girlfriend.
Wait, how did you even meet Darman? I honestly never even heard of Darman before I met you.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody does until you're like, whoa, this guy's huge.
Yeah.
Now he's huge. But I got an audition in August, and I had kind of just started working with Anwar again, just because we took like a little bit of a break when that all happened, just because the work slowed down.
Sure.
And I got an audition on a casting website called Backstage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of different acting casting websites.
Yeah.
This one is kind of more of a you find more student films on there than pay gigs. Occasionally there's pay gigs, but it's mainly like student films. So I got the audition, I sent it in, I booked it, and in September I filmed my first video with Darman, which was car salesman judges somebody. I don't even know. I'm just basically, this guy comes in. Have you seen a Darman video? They're basically like soap operas with a moral story. So it's kind of like an after school special.
Honestly, no.
Right.
I haven't.
It's okay. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's my main audience is probably like younger kids, moms, and international folk, because it's written it's really overwritten.
Okay.
Like they want you to say, and the directing, they want you to act how the word says, which is like rule 101 is that's not what you do in acting. So it's like, I'm really mad at you right now. Like they want you to like
say mad and
be
mad,
which like better acting, in my opinion, would be like, I'm really mad at you. You see what I'm saying?
Instead of being like,
right. Instead of, I am really mad at you right now.
Is that like better for an international student to see that?
Right.
Is that why?
Because if I'm saying what I mean, it's easier to understand what I'm saying, even with the caption. So they'll use it to kind of learn English. But it also, a lot of teachers would show them in school, like their classrooms, just because they like the moral lessons. You know, instead of putting on Lassie for the 800th time.
Oh my God. You're telling me kids are watching this series in school instead of Bill Nye?
Yeah, all the time. They're watching Darman instead of Bill Nye. It's crazy. Do you know how many teachers came up to me like, oh my God, I play your videos in my classroom all the time. One of my buddies who helps kids, like he was doing like a Scared Straight kind of program, but not quite. He would show them Darman videos because he was a buddy of mine. He's like, dude, my friend's in this thing. Watch this.
Okay.
So it's like any sort of like moral lessons, and they're like simple things like don't judge a book by its cover.
Okay.
That would be like a moral lesson in it. And it's really like that. It's weird almost because half of the morals end up being like, hey, don't be mean to people because they secretly might be rich. It's weird. So it's like the moral and theory is good, but then it's also like, wait, this is like kind of weird, dude. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this. But for me, I was really desperate at the time because I kind of stopped working with Amor for a little bit just because I'd been working for a couple of years and then it just kind of fizzled out. I think, at one point they stopped production in August of 2019. Everybody just took a month off and I was like, well, fuck, I don't have another job.
Sure.
So that was a really stressful point for me. I had like no money. I took my girlfriend on our first date, the one I'm still dating her now.
Yeah.
I was able to afford one round of drinks. My card would not get approved for another.
Oh no.
So she bought the second round and she didn't know I couldn't afford it.
Wow.
And then I didn't see her for a little bit because she ended up going to Portugal for a wedding. But and then I got the Darman job, which was really clutch for me because at the time it was paying $25 an hour, which is weird. You don't normally pay hourly for acting gigs. You get a day rate.
Okay.
But it was good money for me because other than that, that's when I started charging scooters because I was like, I can't get another job. I was trying to get another restaurant job. Nobody's hiring at that time of year.
Yeah.
And so it was clutch when I first got the Darman job because I ended up getting like, $150, for the day. Actually, it was a really long shoot for whatever reason. It was like 13 hours. For a video that's like 8 minutes, it should not take 13 hours to film 8 minutes.
Holy.
No, it's just because they had one camera guy and a producer who was also the sound guy. So the producer was the one that cast me, and then Dar wrote the script. So it was a 3-man team.
Wow.
Yeah, really, really small. But then the video came out and it got like 200 million views.
What?
300 million views. To this day, it's probably got like close to, 500-600.
I gotta watch it.
On Facebook. On Facebook.
Oh my God.
So like most of his views popped off on Facebook.
Whoa.
Which was cool, but for me, like I was cool, but I was like, okay, cool. Like I've already been viral before.
Sure.
So it didn't impress me much. Like I wasn't like hooked on the high of that just because I'd been in Anwar and Hannah and Lele's videos and Rudy's Lele videos.
There's definitely like a high to that, like you're saying. Yeah.
Right. There is a high and it wears off. It's a drug and it's like you need another high and a higher high. And you just eventually it's just like, okay, it's a number. And like occasionally like, a few more kids come up and like recognize me because I had already been kind of recognized at that point for being in like Lele's videos or something like that. So for me, it was like, okay, cool. But it was more about the paycheck. Over time, they just keep hiring you back. Once you book once, then they'll bring you back if you're popular and the videos pop off. So you do more and more. And basically that was my main gig for the next year.
Even through COVID though?
Even through COVID. Yeah. They got a license from the state of California for being an essential business.
Wow.
Which, you tell me if you think that's essential.
I don't know. No, maybe not.
It's fine. They filled out the paperwork and they got the license. So we were able to film. Interesting. But for me, it was cool because I was able to work during the pandemic. A little bit here and there. Okay. So, the occasional job when it comes up, it was cool. And then we had one went super viral, got like 52 million views in 24 hours. Oh. It was a COVID hoarder one. So they were like really, 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 really popular, making a ton of money. Star opens up the studio 2020. At that same time in 2020 is when I met you. Yeah. I think it was that year because Anwar was hiring a new producer. He was going to give me, I was going to be his producer, and I was kind of at a crossroads.
Dang.
Because like I told you, I was working with him as a PA, and he was one of my best friends, and I helped him write a good chunk of stuff, and that's basically what he wanted me to do, is help him write and produce his videos, because he also has a skeleton team. But for me, I think it was either do more Darman stuff or take Anwar, because the Anwar job was going to be $4,000 a month, which is pretty good steady money for LA, you know, especially when you see the kind of money I was making before. It was like scraping by on rent.
Yeah.
The only way I could afford rent too was because me and my buddies all lived in a 4-bedroom house, and nobody else would live in the house while they were doing construction. So they lowered, like, our rent was like,
right.
It was a certain amount, and then they dropped it. So I was only paying like $700 a month in rent.
Yeah,
which is like,
that's nice.
But some mornings, like I remember one morning it was 7 a.m.
Bro,
there's a man,
that's this
nailing on our roof above my bedroom at 7 a.m. And I was like, what the actual so like that, we were going through hell just to be able to afford rent, but I did what I had to. So I was at a crossroads, and then basically from that point on, 2020, I was just like, I think I'm going to lean more into the Darman thing, into the acting thing. I think there's a lot of more upside for me, because like for Anwar it'd be cool because I get the money and he get the producer, but I don't ever want to work on something that isn't working me towards my end goal. My end goal was never to be a producer or to be somebody's guy. I wanted to be an actor. So that's why I leaned into Darman, and between that and unemployment, that's basically how I paid my bills for the next year. That's how I was paying our bills. I started to get a bigger following on TikTok at that same time, when I kind of leaned into being the Darman thing. And Andre was actually the guy who kind of introduced me into being, I didn't realize I was the Darman guy until Dom's like, dude, you should lean into that.
Sure.
And I didn't realize how, because like I said, you see the views, you see the numbers, and you're like, okay, people see it occasionally.
Dude, you were getting recognition on the platforms, just like your face has such a value.
Right, because I have like billions.
That's crazy.
Billions of views on my face. I'm not kidding. Like,
that's a good soundbite.
He's got like 20 billion views. Bro, I'm in like 30% of his videos.
Wow, it's insane.
Right, so
that's awesome, man.
Right, it's
congrats.
Cool.
I mean, that's awesome.
It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, bro, how many movies have been out that have 1 billion views in a movie?
Not many. Right,
or like that sort of impact you've been able to,
which is crazy.
Been a part of, is amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you. I mean, it is amazing.
I wish we'd show some of that here. I mean, even here you have 77 million views. You know,
right? And that's on 300 videos, and I'm not. It's because I truly need to try harder.
Yeah, well, I'm curious, like in line with what we were talking about, the popcorn content and the valuable content. What do you think? Are you going to take that strategy at all and start making that sort of content on this platform, on platforms?
More popcorn content?
Less popcorn content. More, I don't know. I guess
it's tough to say.
Yeah. What your strategy is going to be moving forward? What's your plan right now?
Okay, moving forward. So, I mean, I'll dodge as much of the drama as possible, but we've had a big kind of breakup. A lot of the actors with Dar and I, just because over the years, like I know how much money he's made when I do the math.
So it was like a call to get paid more, and you guys
kind of more than anything, bro. So a lot of my friends, I'm meeting up with them later today, were the directors and crew. So we ended up going from that 2-man crew to now like 5-man crew, and they have 3 studios in Burbank. So that was cool, and it felt cool to go in and have the studio and like have the culture and like community of people. But several times I've seen actors ask for money, because we all know there's a lot out there, and be like, hey, can I get a raise? They never hired back.
Okay.
Which is
again, I have no like concept of this, bro.
Right.
You know?
Here's the thing. If you have a job and you're like, hey boss, can I get a raise? And you get fired for asking for a raise.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. I could see that.
That is fucked up.
Wow.
And not only that, so I've given feedback, and I'm like, hey, you guys should get like this piece of equipment, which is like an 8x8, just so it's like, it's hot. Like we're shooting outside, and like some of the things, it's like little notes like that, you don't get asked back for a month or 2. You get put on timeout, and then they come back.
Whoa.
Right. So you get, and it's funny. So like one of his responses was they get feedback, but we know, dude, if you gave feedback to Dar, you're on timeout and you were going to get punished. And it sucks because the money we were making, it started getting better. I told you I got $25 an hour, which is weird. The hourly thing's weird. It got better. Like I got to a point where I was making $44 an hour, which sounds good. Like if you're working a normal job, but sometimes they'll hold us for like 5 days. They'll be like, okay, it's a 5-day shoot. you're working 2 or 3 days, you find out. And on some of those days, you're only in there for one scene. So you'll work like 2 hours.
Wow.
Right. And then they do like a minimum 2 hours. So you get $88 for a day.
So wait a second. So you just locked out 5 days of your time to find out you're only available for 2 days to.
Right.
Damn.
Right. And you don't get, and I've had a shoot canceled on me 2 hours before the shoot.
No.
2 hours. And like when you're acting, you hold out the whole day.
No.
Yeah, bro. You lock out the whole day because you
sucks.
never know with production. And so, yeah, and little things like that. So it was about the money a little bit with Dar, but it was more about the culture of like, hey, dude, if we give you feedback, we feel like we get punished.
Damn, y'all didn't have anything in your contract about like residual,
no,
royalties?
No negotiation, bro.
You know?
Like that. I'm telling you, anytime someone spoke up,
Fuck.
fired, bro.
Wow.
Like you just don't get brought back.
Damn.
And he was like, you could tell, like there were people lined up. So they kind of wrote things in archetypes. So I was like the prick, like I was like the scammer. That was like a lot of my things. Sometimes I got to do like a good guy role.
Okay.
But like I played the kid a lot.
No way.
Yeah, like the people come up to me like, oh, you're the mean guy from Darman.
Yeah.
Or the scammer from Darman. That's what people kind of come up to me and say a lot. And based on that same note, people like, I went to Whole Foods the day after.
Yeah.
Like 2 days ago, I went to Whole Foods and the guy's like, oh, hey, dude, you're from Darman, right?
Yeah.
That happens all the time. All the time. And I changed my look up and it's like, at this point, I've went through all my looks so they recognize me no matter what I look like anymore.
Sure.
Because I had the long hair when I met you. And
Yep.
like, when I had the long hair, bro, anywhere I went, because the hair was like pretty unique.
Yeah.
They just, I wore a mask. They still know. My friend Mary's kind of like that. She has blonde hair. So it's very, very popular. And we are adding to the brand. And I'm constantly representing your brand, bro. And like most months, I can't pay my rent with how much I'm making here. Some months I could.
Whoa.
Some months, I make like $4 or $5 grand, which is a good month. But those months were far and few between.
This is such a weird conversation, that you're getting, to think that you're in billions of views and only have been paid this much. It reminds me of like the way the original like Siri voice, but for TikTok. Did you hear that story?
Oh, no. What happened with her?
The first voice that was used on TikTok, she got really upset because she was not paid that much to film, to do voice acting. She had done voice acting for another company who then had sold her voice to TikTok to use. Yeah. So she was paid very little. Like not the one we have now, but
the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
But it's messed up when companies make billions of dollars on a thing because a commercial, bro. If you do the right commercial, you make $100,000.
It's like we don't know what we don't know. Like especially right now in your life. At that time in your life, you're like, oh, bro, I need to eat. Like,
right. Yeah, because look, I was charging scooters.
Bro, I want to eat. I want to, like, this is like a taste of what's out there. At some point, do you feel like maybe if you had just been like, I'm just not going to go anymore? Did you have any weight, Or did you not have?
I mean, there were a lot of times I considered quitting.
Yeah.
Because it was embarrassing, bro. Because it was also like, dude, people bashed me online all the time. Like, look up YouTube Darman reactions. Bro, people roast me. But you're not even just my acting. Sometimes it's my acting. Like, I'm telling you, and they're directing us to say, like, giving us bad directions. So I look incompetent.
Right.
Sometimes people are just mean.
Damn.
Make fun of my face.
This is something I want to talk about too, is like dealing with that. How do you deal with, comments and.
Right. Well, the comments were one way for so long, and it was just the mean ones. Occasionally if I looked at Dar's videos, they were like nice comments.
Yeah.
On my video, on my stuff, mainly it's nice. People are pretty much almost ubiquitously nice, and they're like fans of Darman or Lele or whatever, who came to me through that. So that's most of my audience. So they're already pretty big fans of me by the time they get to me, which is why these numbers are probably pretty inflated.
I mean, it's a lot. Yeah.
It's bigger than it should be. You know what I'm saying? For 300.
You give yourself credit. You're a great actor.
Right.
You're
But
great at
I'm
making
saying
skits.
the amount of effort, skill aside, it's even if I was really skilled, the amount of effort I'm putting in and the results I'm getting out is distorted.
I feel like, honestly, if you 10x the amount of videos that you have, you probably have 10 million followers.
Exactly. I 10x the following. And I 100% believe that because I've seen it. Aiden Meekus is the guy who did it really well. He's like a kid. He's 17. He came up through Darman. Now he's got like 13 million followers.
Wow.
He's become some sort of force. But that's because he likes it.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. If I 10x the effort, I'd make 10x.
This is what I want to get at too, though, is like in order to remove yourself from large agencies like this guy.
Yeah.
And move into this, at least with this, we have control over this. Nobody can tell you can't post, which is what I love. Right. Nobody can tell me I can't,
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
I will tell you, though, the traditional Hollywood machine doesn't take this shit seriously.
Not yet.
They don't give a flying But I've also seen it. They didn't take television seriously. It's in the same way. Making a leap from television to film is the same as making the leap from social media to film, or like a Netflix series.
Well, that's what I was trying to ask you about. Like,
Yeah.
how long do you think it'll take until they? Because I already see them coming over to these platforms now.
Yes,
Paying creators to be at these events.
to be at the events, not to be starring in the movies.
Ooh,
Different. That's a different game. Like even Just Mako, I saw him in Spider-Man. He has a cameo.
which Spider-Man? The new one?
Yeah, the new one. No Way Home. He's like in it.
No
I saw
way.
him. Yeah, he came in it.
I gotta talk to him about that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get him on.
I saw him on there,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh yeah, I know that guy.
I know,
It's cool.
I know him. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
he'll be on here.
He was on Spider-Man.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
But,
That's about it.
you
But
know.
you know, there's a difference between cameo and then being Tom Holland.
Right.
A different game.
That's different. There's like a different level. They're
Right.
superstars.
Right. And so here's
You know?
every minute I put into this is a minute I'm not putting into breaking into superstardom or like acting stardom.
So you want to break into
Yes.
superstar actor?
Yes.
And then maybe not even ever do this. So you don't need to do it at this point.
This is like a side thing.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
It's your side hustle.
That's like if I do 10x,
Yeah.
then that is 10x because you don't understand. Every minute that I'm not doing social media, I'm writing movies. I'm producing films. I'm writing.
Really?
Yeah. Me and so the guys I'm meeting up with, the former directors.
Yeah.
Like Darman. Like here's one thing. Darman did help me out. Gave me a great network because he has a great ability to find good people. And he also has a great ability to fire good people.
Damn.
So that's one of the issues. Like when we sent in our letter a month ago, then a couple of my buddies who are directors, I told them about it. And they're like, yo, hey, we should have a conversation with them too. They asked him for a meeting on Tuesday. They were fired Thursday. And do you know how you get fired? You just don't get a call sheet for the next day. That's it. And then you're just like left being like, what the f-? It's a toxic relationship, bro. And they're employees. They worked there. They'd have their schedule for weeks. And then they were just told to come into HR the next morning and they're fired. No notice, no nothing. So I'm working.
Another reason I love this, by the way.
Yeah,
Just want to point that out.
cool. Like it definitely gives you a lot of financial freedom and things like that. But I'm teaming up with super talented directors like them, and we're producing web series. They've given me. I mean, I have like a whole crew now, like that I can just work with and go.
So you're gonna take that and post it on YouTube? Is that?
We're talking about that. A lot of times film festivals, because I mean, when I get down to the routes, for me, I'll break down acting and then I can break down social media. One, the easiest route to break into acting is connections, and that's true for social media as well. So if you're somebody, connections is always the number one. If you're somebody's niece or something like that.
Yeah.
The second one would be like sexual connections, and I consider dating like that as well.
Okay.
Right.
Sure.
Right. If you're Austin Butler, for example, he dated Vanessa Hudgens for 8 years.
I've never even heard his name.
Right. Austin Butler, he played Elvis.
Oh,
That dude. That dude. I studied him because he went to the same acting studio, so I know his story.
it could be like his doppelganger. a little
Right.
bit.
I have a photo with him. I've met him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, our acting coach told us that I get mistaken for him a lot. Like the people tell me I look like him. And he's like, oh, well, I'll take that as a compliment.
That's
Super
awesome.
nice guy.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Should pursue that.
What, being his doppelganger?
Why not?
Because I'd rather be me.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Austin's cool, but he's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sexual connections. And that's not the only thing that broke a man, but like it doesn't hurt. Like it keeps you on the media awareness. Like you'd have like a big media awareness. And there's other people who like date somebody and get in there. Like Pamela Anderson married a bunch of people. It's those sort of things we see all the time. Or just dating the right person. Like everyone knows, like if you date Leo, all of a sudden you're famous. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. The third way I see is build a big brand. And this is where social media comes in for me because it's a different art form than acting. Build a big brand, then move it over. But you still have to be good enough to move it over. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is an example of this. He built a big brand in wrestling. Boom. Moved it over to acting.
Yeah.
Right. This is how I see social media. Social media is by building a big brand and you try to move it, leverage it into the space. So, for example, like how Justin got into that movie, I'm sure he has very few credits, if any, but he gets a cameo in there because he built a big brand and moved it over.
Yeah.
And it's whether or not he pursues that or wants to. People like that, I don't know. Like Hannah Stocking's another one. She's a good embodiment of this. A guy named Melvin Gregg is another good example of this. He's probably the best I've seen so far. Batch built a big brand. Now he does movies on Netflix. They're not hits or anything like that, but I have faith. In the same way that Will Smith built a big brand as a musician. Boom, moved over to television, and then boom, moved over to movies.
Yeah.
And then he got nominated for an Oscar, and he won. He obviously lost it because he slapped the guy, but he was good. He deserved that Oscar. He was good. That's the third way. The fourth way is critical acclaim. Right, for this is more specific to film. I think it works in just about any genre as well. Like if you win a Grammy, you're going to be popular. You win an Oscar, you're going to be popular. But how do you get to those first? For us in the film industry, it's film festivals, specifically the prestigious ones. Like sure, you can go around to the other ones, and I think it matters, but not nearly as much as if you win. Do you know what Cannes is? Con Film Festival?
No.
Sundance. You ever hear Sundance?
Sundance,
Try
yeah.
it back at right.
Sure.
If you win Best Picture or Best Actor or something at one of those, you're good, bro. You're gonna work. Timothy Chalamet basically came up that way. Robert Pattinson enhanced his brand that way.
Wait a second. That's how Timothy Chalamet came through?
Right. They're right, because he just felt like he came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
He did some Broadway plays and then he did some critical movies. I think Call Me by Your Name was a critical success.
Never even.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. It's not for the masses, but it was a critical acclaim, and then boom, all of a sudden you're a star.
So wait, you're gonna be a producer and like or director
actor.
You're gonna act in these.
Act in these. Yeah.
So that's your path right now? You're gonna come up through the grapevine like that?
Kind of. Well, here I believe you should pursue all 5.
Okay.
Because you never know which one's gonna pop you, and then you need self-awareness to tell you which way and how in each of these zones. Because the 5th one for me is Broadway. It's kind of like critical acclaim, but Broadway is taken more seriously. Austin Butler broke this way. He went from doing TV series that you never heard of. Chronicles of Shannara, you ever hear that?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like one of his big Carrie Diaries. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay, he was in that. That was probably what he's most famous for. Then he goes and books a play called Iceman Cometh. You've never heard of it.
I actually have heard of that.
You have. You know Iceman Cometh.
I've heard of it.
Oh, Eugene O'Neill. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe it's Eugene O'Neill. I might be wrong, but he did that across from Denzel, right? Because a lot of high-level actors go to Broadway to sharpen their skills, and Broadway hires, big movie stars because it pulls in the tickets. He works across from Denzel on that 4-hour play. It's not Tony. I don't think it won a Tony or anything like that. Nothing spectacular, but he did Broadway and he had a big brand. So he goes from that to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he goes from that to Elvis. What was the game changer?
Whoa.
What was the game changer? It was Broadway. And he didn't win any awards or anything like that, but people take you more seriously. Anthony Ramos is another one. Do you know who Lin-Manuel Miranda is?
No.
He Hamilton, you know that play?
I've heard of it.
Right, it's okay, but it's right. It's because it's like more of like it's a high art thing. It's not going to be culturally. It is sometimes high art breaks into mass culture.
It broke into TikTok. There were a while
because the sounds, because the music and the sounds.
Yeah,
that's what broke it. It's not because of the play itself. It's the songs that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote.
Right.
So occasionally you can break into the. Do you want me to wait for that?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Occasionally you can break in via different things like the songs and things like that. Especially Broadway leans itself to
it's cool that you broke it down to these 5 ways. There's not 6.
I have not found a 6th yet.
It's not social media.
I'm sure there's one out there, but that would fall under brand.
Okay.
Right. And I'm going to write a book on this, and I think it's a great book. Because I think you can break it down in the same way for any industry. Social media's probably got the same thing. For me, the one that I know the best is acting. So that's why I go from that world. And then so what I'm doing is, for me, this is my strategy. We'll find out. Check in with me in like a couple years, see if it works. Because I could just keep being broke, but maybe I won't be. I think it'll work.
I love that you have a strategy.
Oh yeah, bro. You have to.
Nobody's talked to me about a strategy for breaking into the acting world.
Right.
Like, that's very exciting.
I don't think very many people do. I think this is something very unique, and it's because of maybe someone else has one, I'm sure, but maybe they don't share it. Or I think it just has to work with the fact that my mind kind of breaks things down, and I find patterns out of abstract, because these are very abstract things I'm kind of talking about, but it makes sense in this pattern.
It does, right? Yeah.
So for me, my strategy is I need to invest my time into one of these 5 things. And if a project or a thing, this is what guides all my decisions. Because I aim for 10 Oscars. It's a lofty goal. It doesn't have to all be in acting. It's impossible to win all in acting, but I want 10 Oscars. So how do I put myself in those positions? I need to be if I'm doing a project that doesn't serve me in one of these, I'm not doing that project. Or it needs to sustain me financially, or get me a connection or something like that into one of these world, like connections. You see what I'm saying? So that would be in that. So it either needs to be serving one of these or serving me financially in a substantial way. Like I need to be getting like $1,000 for the day.
This is very exciting.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Because it feels good, right? It's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Not just the book idea, but
like the strategy. Yeah. The core of the strategy. I think it's incredibly valuable. Huh. You're welcome, audience. That's probably the most valuable thing I've ever come up with.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be so upset if somebody writes a book about it first, because I saw it on the podcast.
Who cares? Because
I care because I want to make money, dude.
Guys,
I'm tired of being broke.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Let him know, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think I'll still understand it better than anybody who just hears the idea.
Nobody's going to have your same experience and your same thoughts about death and stuff,
No, that's true. Well, I think maybe it's because I think about death. I drove myself to think about that.
So I wonder now, is there any pressure? Do you put any pressure on yourself for a timeline?
No.
Like for those things to happen?
No. I just need to, as long as I know I got something cooking in these, like I'm writing a play.
Right now?
Yeah, I'm writing a play right now, and that's my Broadway path.
Whoa.
Right. I'm going to produce it. I'm trying to do it for Hollywood Fringe.
No way.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's called Broken Unions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Broken Unions.
I'm excited for that one. But
Is it musical? It's a play.
No, it's a play.
Okay.
It's a play. A one-act dramedy, probably leaning more into drama.
Okay.
Loosely.
Are you going to make people be mean while they talk? Then whatever that was.
What do you mean?
Mad. I'm mad and look like they're mad.
Oh yes, that's exactly how my direction is going. I actually might not direct it, but I will act and write it.
Okay.
But that's my Broadway thing, because if it wins Fringe.
What's Fringe?
Fringe, it's a film. It's not a film. It's a theater festival in Los Angeles.
Is that something you have to produce, like visually? You have to like film it and then
no, it's a
put
play.
it on.
It's a play. You put it on the stage,
and then people just come and watch.
People
and
come.
You can film it also.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. People they buy a ticket, they sit down, they watch, and then they come up to you afterwards and talk to them. That's the cool part about a play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's cool, right? I was inspired. I saw Bryan Cranston last year for my birthday. I saw him in a play called The Power of Sale. It's a really good play.
So are you gonna? Have you thought about who's gonna be in your plays?
Yes. Yeah, I've already cast it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of the actors I've worked with.
Can you tell us what it's about?
Loosely, it's kind of inspired by what's going on with the Dharma stuff.
Okay.
I was just like, all right, what would be like? It just came to me and I wrote it down. A guy tried to start a union and got fired. This happened in 2007, so he lost his house and his wife got pregnant and had a kid all at the same time. And he got fired because his best friend sold him out and didn't join the cause. Right.
Okay.
So now we start the play. Scene one. It's he's got his baby daughter and she's his whole world. It's just cute. Knock on the door. It's the best friend. He wants him to come back to his old job, and the boss wants to talk to him. And then I'm not going to ruin the rest of it, but that's how it starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that one should be real good. But yeah, so play, and then I'm doing something, building my brand in social media.
Yeah.
So as long as I'm doing something in social media, critical acclaim. I'm doing a project with my buddies right after this. Actually, I'm going to be a little late to the meeting. We're doing something, that web series that we're going to take to film festival, ideally, but they like to have premiere status, so we may or may not put it on YouTube.
Premiere, so they want to be the first place.
The first place, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the one thing about doing the film festival that's annoying, is because I'd rather put the product out and make money, but I know we're only going to do 6 of them, highly produced. Sometimes they go viral. You have very little control whether anything goes viral, but the one way you do have control over getting money and making consistent views is consistency with product.
Right.
And this wouldn't be something like that. So that's why I think I'd lean more into taking it critical.
Cool.
Does that make sense? And then so for the other two, there's just like connections.
Sure.
Not much you can really do. This is kind of serving that connections thing, because this is deepening our connection.
Yeah. Totally.
And then dating, I don't really think that's one I want to lean into using, because it has definitely some downsides, because I know some people who gluck and got far, but if you're not good, it always comes undone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's interesting. So you're here. You got the vision. You got your path kind of set in front of you. It'll be really interesting to look back on this episode in 5 years, or
see if I'm broken homeless, or if it broke into the industry. One of two options.
I don't think you'll be broken homeless. No, I mean, like, you could always. I mean, damn.
I ain't quitting. That's the thing.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I ambitiously invest in myself.
Exactly.
Like recklessly.
So now that's something we can talk about. Now, what is your sort of what is your motivation? What is your schedule like for yourself? Do you spend do you have any habits that you could share with us? Yeah,
absolutely. I'd say one habit I've found that really helps is thinking about one day I'm going to die. Gary Vee touches on this.
Yeah.
And, I think do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
Yeah.
He touches on this too. And I like this idea that you're going to die. And that's okay. There's nothing you can do about it. You don't know when, but it makes me, you can do one of two things with that. You can have it in front of you and have it paralyze you and be like, I'm going to die. I don't know what to do. Like, life is meaningless. Or you can have that behind you and be like, I'm going to die. I want to do something meaningful while I'm here. And so I have that. I've chosen to have that sort of behind me. And every day that's why I think about death like that, because I know I'm not guaranteed tomorrow, and I can enjoy today, or I can try to build something that lasts. If I'm doing one of those two, like, that's good enough for me. But I think for me, I'm a workaholic. I think that's something I've come to terms with, and it's not necessarily a virtue.
What do you mean by workaholic? Are you spending a lot of time?
Yeah, I'm addicted to work. And I guess this is maybe something specifically for people like that. Work on your mental health. And there's a book I read it's called Love is a Choice. It really, really helped me recognize, like I told you, I grew up in an alcoholic household. And what you don't realize is, as a child, you learn to be codependent. codependent with that. You're codependent with an addiction. Sometimes it doesn't have to be alcoholic. That's just the most common one. Sometimes people are a gambling addict. Most sinister is a workaholic.
I'm sorry. What do you mean by codependent? Like you're codependent on your parents or codependent on what?
Right. Well, my understanding codependency, it's like an illness, right? It creates an unhealthy emotional dynamic, right? So because my father couldn't be there because he was drunk most of the time or high, he smoked a lot of weed. Yeah. It's a way of escaping. And I understand now as I gotten older why, because he has his own pain and it was too much to bear, but that's painful as a child.
It's interestingly enough, though, so we're pairing being a workaholic with getting over pain. That's a normal thing as far as I understand.
What do you mean?
I think, like, do you know who Dale Carnegie is?
Yeah.
So like Dale Carnegie in his book about worrying says to basically be a workaholic is like, that's how you get over not worrying.
I mean, that's one point of view.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I don't know if that's necessarily the healthiest point of view.
I mean, there's also like creator burnout that comes with, and I'm putting it in my bed because,
right,
I feel like crashing every once in a while.
Right. So
being overworked, it catches up to you.
It does catch up to you, but more. I'm talking about more in.
That's what I wanted. That's what I'm trying to get to. Is like the balance. How do you balance creating and living a healthy lifestyle? I guess
it's hard, especially because I think sometimes people. It depends on why you're working. Right. Like for some people, it's like they get a high. Like I get a high off working.
Yeah.
Like I really.
I mean, bro, this is so different. Being in a podcast and like looking at another person, talking for a long time, it makes like a moment. Like,
exactly.
Very intense.
It is. It is intense. Yeah. And like I can tell you also enjoy working.
Bro, I love doing this. This is great.
It's great, but it's dangerous because here's the thing: if it pulls you away from because work,
it could be. Yeah, sure.
Work isn't your whole life.
Yeah,
work is not your whole life, and it's hard to balance things like spending time with your family. Like I've sacrificed a lot. Like my nieces and nephews have grown up without me. My grandma died and I couldn't see her before she died. Right. And it's like, imagine being a child and your dad isn't home ever. And you don't care about his legacy. Really. You're 4. You just want to spend time with your dad. Anything that takes you away and becomes kind of like an idol of sorts and something that distracts you from living your life fully is an unhealthy dynamic. And so when you become codependent on that feeling and it just anything that kind of takes you and makes you escape, it can, and that's why I say workaholism is really sinister in my opinion, because it seems like a virtue. There are people like Dale Carnegie will signal that that's a good thing. And it can be very, 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 very powerful because I guarantee some of the most exceptionally accomplished people in the world are workaholics. Now, are they happy and fulfilled? I don't think most people should live that way. I try to balance it. It's very, very difficult because, we put off a lot of things and we sacrifice a lot of things when we're workaholics like this. Yeah.
Especially, you got big goals, man. You got big dreams.
Right.
So,
and I think part of that is to balance out the feeling of feeling small as a child. Is because if I can make something that's meaningful and maybe can help someone else like I was helped, then maybe it'll be worth it, right? And these are things that I have to acknowledge and I can catch, and I have to be able to see it and acknowledge it and find the self-awareness of why I'm doing it, because otherwise it'll run me off the rails and it'll ruin your life and it'll ruin the life of your children if you have them or whoever you're influential upon, because it just really, it's hurtful and damaging to be away from them when they need you, and it's a generational curse. And so that's why people cover up, like you see people go in generations of addicts. Workaholism is just as addictive as cocaine addict. They're just as addicted.
Speaking on that just for a second. So do you exercise at all?
Yes.
What's your exercise schedule like?
I try to go at least 5 times a week to the gym. Right now I'm not because kind of open wound.
Yeah, you gotta tell me about that sometime.
Oh, I just doing push-ups for an audition, and I was doing clap push-ups, really stupid. And I was doing clap, and I was like, oh man, I can do this. And because I was trying to show them I'm athletic, I'm like, I'm gonna do it behind the back.
Wait, so you recorded it?
I did.
No.
Yeah.
Bro, release it.
No. It's really stupid. It's like I only kind of recorded it because like my face hits the ground. And so like instead of going, I clapped here and then behind my back.
Yeah.
First. Normally you're supposed to go clap behind your back and then here and then land.
Oh my
God. As I did it, I was like, oh fuck, I fucked up, and I couldn't pull my hands back around fast enough. I went, thunk, and my chin just split open, and I chipped my tooth.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Damn.
Well, it's like inside of my molar. I'm lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, bro. Damn. Yeah. Well,
rough. Yeah, it was really stupid.
It's funny.
I might post
I'm
it.
glad you're all right. You know,
Thanks.
I saw that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
damn.
It was. It didn't hurt too bad. I
Yeah.
play football, so I'm used to kind of like just not letting the physical pain affect the mental. But I thought it was funny, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is pretty stupid. You know.
Well, I think that personally, like on my side of things, I like finding healthy addictions.
Yeah.
I love it because otherwise we're not being healthy, or we're, you know, the what's it called, the draw to want to drink. And like, I don't drink. I'm not drinking. I've been sober for, you know, a few years now.
Nice.
Sober, anything else, everything else. Like, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. So
Same.
yeah, but I also started running 5 miles a day.
Oh wow.
For the past 1,000 days.
Oh wow. So you like the endorphin high of it?
Endorphin high. It's like regulating my emotions daily. Like, helps me cope with stress and anger. You know.
So not everyone's like us.
No.
I think you. It sounds like you have an addictive personality, and you're aware of it, which is good. You have to be aware of it.
Have to.
Because if you're not, you're gonna die, and it's gonna be awful. You're gonna die a horrible death if you're not. Because that's the thing. If you're not aware of it, it will take control of you and ruin your life. But not everybody is an addict like us. This is mainly for the addicts out there.
But
it's smart to channel.
Let's call it something else. I don't even like the word addict.
But it doesn't matter if you like it. That's what it is.
It's passion. It's my passion.
You gotta be aware of it, because if you don't label it what it is, it runs you, bro. You have
it
to
literally
be aware.
runs.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you can, yes, channel it into positive things, but you always have to be aware enough to check it. Like, that's the thing. I watch myself like a person I don't know, because I don't trust myself. And I'm not in the sense that like I trust myself to say and take care of myself, but I also don't trust that part of me that is the addict. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
It's almost like I'm parenting myself. Like,
I don't trust the part of me that wants to think about, like, oh, maybe I should go drink. Maybe I should go to the bar and drink. That person I don't listen to.
Right, but that person, I mean, that guy manifests in more ways than just that. I just try to do nothing, if nothing else, watch myself operate, because I try to just watch, like, operate without monitoring myself, because I'm more free and I'm happier that way. But I also try to observe and check it. Just more than anything, just observe and watch and be like, oh, why did I do that? Do you ever just find yourself doing that? Like, that was odd.
Occasionally, I mean,
No.
like what? Like what? Anything specifically?
I don't like those impulses.
Like, bro, I mean, the only thing I think of is you clapping and trying to, like, maybe is that odd? Like, what do you mean by odd?
Maybe not like odd, physically odd.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Like, what?
like just where you catch the addict coming in. Like, oh man, for me, it's a lot of work things. Like, I'm a very addicted workaholic, and because I've given myself so many options, like I'm a writer, producer, director, actor, bro, I can do any of those anytime.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, a lot of it's just like, oh man, I really got to be working right now, or else like you know, I'm not gonna have the legacy. The project's not gonna get done. I'm gonna miss this deadline. All of those thoughts.
Oh, wow.
You see what I'm saying? I don't know.
Bro, okay. I don't have the pressure of that at all.
Okay.
Like, in the back of my mind,
maybe you're a more balanced person than I.
only because I'm in this like weird realm where I post my own videos on my own schedule, and actually the opposite. I'm like, I need to motivate myself to post because it's something I could just not do.
Okay.
There's no pressure to do it other than I'm not viral anymore or whatever.
Right. Well, in that same token, like the play is not going to matter. It doesn't, like, nobody's going to care if I get the play written but me.
Yeah.
You should.
I care too.
Right.
I'm invested.
I appreciate
all these people are invested too.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
Point being, like, it's anything creative like that where it's like I have to make the thing and then do it. It's in that same zone of like the thing doesn't get done unless I'm the one that makes it get done. Does that make sense? Like, there's no external pressure until you start getting into contracted, work like that. But
I mean, I could see once you're on the treadmill of life, man, like you got to keep up with it now.
What do you mean? Like, keep up with those?
I mean, if you start, let's say I book something I have to do once a week.
Yeah.
Now I have to schedule everything else around that one thing, make sure I most certainly do that one thing. Yeah.
I don't know. The voice in my head starts screaming anytime I'm not working at all.
I mean, but also like the fear is now if I quit, I'm going to work at the restaurant again, bro.
That's not my fear. I when I extrapolate, like if I quit and go get a job banking,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be pretty for me. It's just like I'm built as an artist. I can't do anything but art. Yeah, I don't know. Is that too dark?
That's super dark. Like, if that doesn't, you're saying if you can't create, then
Right.
why am I here, basically?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people in like high trait personality creativeness are like that. It's like I'm dying already. Like, I feel like I'm dying if I'm not making things. Does that make sense?
But do you have any other passions? Any
I do.
other,
Of course. I have other passions.
What do you do when you're not working, bro?
That's the thing I struggle with.
That's the passion, though. What's the passion?
That the work.
The work is your passion.
The work
Yeah,
is the
I
passion.
got
That's
bro.
you
I
see
got
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's the danger of the workaholism, and that's the battle I fight
Do
personally.
you take a break?
Rarely.
Why not? I take too many breaks.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. It's hard for me because like
Do you watch TV?
yeah, but for me that's working.
Okay.
Because like for me, and unless it's really really good, I already know what's happening. It's a burden because like I'm good at
So
that.
wait. What's your favorite movie
Favorite movie right now
ever?
bro. I'm biased because I just saw Babylon. Parasite by Bong Joon-ho is fantastic.
Parasite
as
is
well.
amazing, yeah.
It's a fantastic
I
film.
love
It's a
that.
masterpiece. Inglourious Bastards is a fun one.
That one's interesting.
You
I
don't
don't
like
like the
Too gory?
cutting. Yeah, no, I don't. like
It's
that.
fun.
Yeah,
It's fun. I like Tarantino's films. But for me, unless it's a film of that high quality or like The Last of Us is really good, if I know what's gonna
I
happen,
didn't want to say it.
I get bored.
Yeah.
I get so bored because for me, it's like I know I've read a lot and I've studied a lot and I find the patterns and for me, like when I'm working as an actor, I'm like, what is this story? But what's happening in the story?
What's that like 12-step program? No, not program, but there's like
Alcoholics?
No. No,
Hey.
not 12-step alcoholics. There's 12 moments in the hero's journey.
Oh, the hero's
Yes.
journey. Yeah, of course, that's a classic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
like Lord of the Rings.
are you more aware of that when you watch a movie, or is that only like one of the things you're aware of?
It's one of the things.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm studying as a director and as an actor and as a writer. But that as a writer, for sure, it's very glaring to me if a writing doesn't cover its tracks well, or like the directing doesn't kind of take me on the journey of these individual people. And if they just go on the journey of the story, I'm like, okay, this is happening. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This.
So what movie happened like more recently that you were like,
Babylon. I had no idea what was going to happen in that film. That's why I loved it.
No, I mean, what's one that you knew was going to happen?
Most movies, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, any recent ones? Did you see Not Gonna Happen? Did you watch that?
No,
yet?
I haven't had
Yeah.
time, bro. The protests.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
because it's not just showing up; it's the making the videos afterwards and the planning and the communicating. Like my phone has been on fire for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So the last movie I saw was Babylon. That was early January.
Dang.
Took me for a ride. Avatar. I already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is the same thing that happened in the first movie.
Right.
It's like
I did feel that way about that.
right. I haven't even
Yeah.
seen it. The marketing tells me that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'll watch it. It'll be like, okay, blue people good, humans bad,
Yeah.
nature good,
Yep.
industry bad. Done. Movie's done.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, no insult to James Cameron. He's a genius of our time. You know, Titanic's great. And sometimes people like those simple things. And you can do a little twist. Like Titanic's a classic, you know, love story.
Yeah.
Lady and the Tramp sort
Sure.
of thing. And it's tragic. Basically, with those sort of things, it's just the sweetness in between that keeps us.
Are you following what Mr. Beast is doing?
What's he doing?
Building studios. He lives in like North Carolina. Like he's a big fish.
Right.
North Carolina. You know.
Yeah.
You know. Just like, and it's something I've always thought about actually, like moving back home and
Building out a thing there.
building on a thing. And
I guess the
expanding.
game's different.
Yeah.
The game's
This
different.
is we're living like this like hyper have to work all the time. This like we're on this grind to hit more numbers and grow our pages, and
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, man.
Oh, same. But I found finding little moments of rest.
Yeah.
That's the key to sustaining things. And that's like, as much as I have that voice of balancing it out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I gave you just the chaos of it, but then I have the kind of the parent in me. And this is the part that therapy kind of helped. Healthy and happiest is most important.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, I never learned how to have a healthy dynamic with anything before. So I just leaned into my work and my accomplishments.
I'm just thinking like, let me just make sure I'm well rounded as a human.
Yeah.
To like, and by that I'm
Oh.
thinking, let me exercise
Right. Yeah.
no matter what.
Right.
Let
Exercise.
me put that as a priority.
Right.
Maybe
Right.
I'll feel better.
Right.
And then like
Yeah.
you don't realize the more effort you put into that, like it actually makes you feel better throughout the day.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. So
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Thanks. You brought me back on course. The things I do to balance it are like I'll go work out.
Right.
And then I'll go to the sauna and I'll meditate. And for me, the things I've done is to just kind of quiet those things is I've worked with checklists. And then I have different areas of my life that I'm like, okay, I did this thing, I did this thing, I did this thing.
But I got a checklist right there. on the counter.
And like I only give myself 3 things to do.
Oh, I have like 10.
No, for me,
But I'm traveling tomorrow, so that's
sure.
fine. Yeah.
Right. And for me, it's like a work thing, a life thing, a health thing. If I do that, everything else is bonus. And I found just minimizing it to those, because like if I'm doing something in my work life, I'm doing something in my like personal life, and then I'm doing something for my physical health, that's good. And then I just mix in meditation and whatnot when I can.
It's good.
Those sort of things keep me balanced. And like those are the things that check me. Like let's see, look, I notice I only made work 1 of the 3.
Right.
Then I have to I've learned to force myself that rule, because I don't need any motivation. And then I just need motivation to keep the other 2 balanced. And I find when I do the other 2, when I do the work thing and I do the physical health thing, or not the work thing, I do the personal thing and I do the physical health thing, the work things just take care of themselves afterwards. Because for me, I'm ready to fucking go. Then I get to play and have fun.
Yes.
And then
right.
everything I do is bonus from there. And I have an easier time stopping, and I have an easier time sleeping.
Yeah.
When I started balancing my life.
Yeah. What about sleep? How are you? Do you sleep? What's your sleep schedule?
I used to sleep 4 hours a night.
Wow.
Yeah, I would sleep 4 hours a night because I was like grind.
Whoa.
Grind.
Wow.
And I did that from like 19 till 25, 26.
Bro, I can't even do that at all.
4 hours.
Like, I can't survive on 4. I have to get like 6 hours to 8 hours, no matter what. Otherwise, I'm like,
Really?
I'm like not functional.
I function now.
I can't run.
Yeah.
As well for like a week. Like if I get like 4 hours of sleep tonight, it will mess me up for the whole week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it hits me and it like messes me up instantly, and then it's
interesting. For me, I can almost like go into sleep debt and operate really, really like almost better.
That's what we think, right? Like,
no, I get sharper and I work, and like I can just, it's like I figured out a way to go into survival mode, and production kind of puts you into this. Like when we were on that one production, bro.
Yeah.
When you came, I slept 4 hours.
Wow.
Maybe even less, 3.5 hours the night in between.
Maybe you're just like getting more done during that amount of time.
Right. But it's adrenaline is basically what happens, and then I crash afterwards. I can keep it up for probably about a week, maybe 2. I
think we all have that. Actually,
right.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
I mean, it's an opportunity, man.
Right.
You're gonna
on a normal night, if I'm catching up, if I have to catch up, then I have to get 8.
It's also like the culture of being here. Sometimes like opportunities just happen tomorrow, and like you need to be ready for that opportunity. So,
no matter what.
Yeah.
You function on adrenaline and caffeine.
Bro, I'm like not trying to do that at all. I actually just quit
caffeine.
Yeah, not even caffeine. Just coffee. Like stop drinking
That's
coffee.
hard. It's hard. Do you get the headaches?
I did the first 2 weeks. Now I feel like this twitch that happens in my eye. I'm like trying. I thought,
isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's
you
really
never
weird.
think about how addictive coffee is.
No.
But caffeine's the most.
Dude,
it's the most consumed drug in the world.
I'm like, what the heck? I was drinking so much coffee. I was drinking like a pot of coffee a day.
Yeah, that'll
No
make
matter
your
what.
anxieties go away. If you quit coffee,
Yeah.
your anxiety goes away almost instantly. Most of it.
Yeah.
I find because like even just the physical effects of the jitteriness of caffeine made me so anxious. I still drink it, but now I drink I do half decaf.
Yeah.
So I get very little caffeine.
Well, I haven't experimented with that yet. I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Try that now.
I went clean for like 2 months last year.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm like about 2 months.
It feels good.
Clean.
It feels good.
I'm
to be
clean drinking coffee.
But then for me, it's working on sets hard.
Yeah.
Just because the days could be like 12 hours at least. 12.
So I wonder
15,
now,
16.
is there any, what do you think about if you started, if you had this account grow?
Yeah.
And like you have, like, I wonder what opportunities would come your way that you would see having a large, like if you had my account, would that change something? You know?
Kind of. I just had this conversation with Jonathan. Shoot, I forgot his last name. He does a React thing. He's
Jonathan Moss?
Is he like makes reaction videos?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got like 12, 13 million, something like that.
Maybe.
Something like that. So he's got a much bigger account, and he's an actor as well. And he and I were having this conversation.
Interesting.
Doesn't make a difference in the acting world. They don't care. It makes a difference financially.
But do you think
helps.
it will eventually?
No.
Like when do you think it's gonna?
I don't think.
When is TV gonna kill the radio? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
but for social media, is social media
has killed TV.
But is social media gonna break into the movie? It's just
right. That's what I'm saying.
completely-
Are TV and movies the same thing? They're different. Movies. Netflix killed movies. Social media didn't kill movies. Netflix, HBO Max killed movies.
So you're betting that social media creators as a
they
thing,
stay in social
they're
media.
gonna stay in their own lane.
It's a different skill. Like, look at that's why the people who succeed on social media are not the same people who succeed in film.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been enough time to where we would see, and there's occasional people who do crossover, but very few. Melvin Gregg's one of the few ones, like I said. King Batch.
Yeah, King Batch.
But even then, like look at the limited. There's like a ceiling on the success that they've had. Nobody's gone on SNL and been a host yet. And that's like one of the real markers of like of somebody at a substantially successful level, right? Like wouldn't you say like that's like a star thing?
Who was it? Jake? Have you heard of Jake?
Jake Paul?
No, not Jake Paul. The musician Jake, that on TikTok. Like,
okay.
No. So I think he performed on SNL.
Right. Music's different though.
Okay.
Music's different because this is Lil Nas X got discovered on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's a different platform, right?
I remember that.
Do you see that point?
I remember that. I just
right. But being a musician is using TikTok as a platform to build a big brand, and then you pop off into a different thing. That's different than if you were trying to transfer into a film career, because none of those dudes are like Lil Nas X ain't going to be in movies, and if he is, it's going to be because of his music career that happened after TikTok, not because of TikTok. I mean, TikTok's the source, but it's not his following on TikTok's not going to get him into that. Like Harry Styles is breaking into movies because of his music career.
Wait a second. I got an example.
Yes, hit me with it.
What's her name? What the fuck is her name? The problem is she's been kind of
Addison Rae?
Yes.
Yeah, she did a movie on Netflix.
Yes.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
How was it?
Very predictable, but I liked it.
Right. Do you think Hollywood took that seriously? No offense to Addison. I'm sure she's a lovely girl, but
yeah.
Do you think they took it seriously? Has she made another one?
I guess not, no.
Why is that?
But she did make one.
That's good. Making one doesn't make a career.
Interesting.
And no offense to Addison, I'm sure she's a lovely girl, and maybe if she wanted to, it's just, I think where a lot of influencers get confused is just because you have an audience and you have a skill, because a lot of the people who grow on social media have a very specific skill and they're very, very good at it. And a lot of it has to do with the amount of work you're going to put in and the consistency and just being yourself. Being in a movie is a very different skill. And it's like opening up a really popular restaurant chain like McDonald's and then going to Paris and be like, hey, try my burger. And hey, I used to be the head chef at McDonald's, or like, hey, I owned 10 of these McDonald's. If you're good at being branding and franchising, and then you go try to work for a Michelin star restaurant, it's not going to be this. They're going to laugh you out of the kitchen and they won't take you seriously. And that's whether or not you could actually do and perform well. Doesn't matter. Maybe they'll give you a chance if you have enough money and you potentially could make them enough money. They might give you like a pop-up for a day, but unless you can prove that you can do it, like it might get you the opportunity. Like Addison Rae got the opportunity because of social media.
Right.
But she didn't break.
I'm going to argue. My point is that I think that somebody's going to break through.
Somebody will. Somebody's going to. Somebody will.
There's going to be a connection.
Right. I'll do it.
You will do it.
There you go.
There you go.
No.
But you weren't TikTok first, Like,
what do you mean?
You started on,
some of the other platforms, but this is like my biggest platform is TikTok.
Yeah. I guess you would also, if you do it. I mean, there's so many people I feel like that are about to break through.
I think. But it's just going to be whether or not they're good enough to perform at that level. I'm not saying I am or not. We'll find out.
Like I know another actor friend, Chelly. Do you know Chelly?
Nope, don't know him.
No.
Thought I was thinking of someone else.
Yeah. But anyway, Chelly's working really hard to break through as an actor.
Well, I'll tell you, and then you can ask him about this, because all my actor friends see me as the social media guy.
Whoa.
All my social media friends see me as the actor guy.
Whoa.
Weird.
Whoa.
Right.
That's because of Darman, basically?
Come
up from that?
Well, no, it's just the fact that most of my work's on social media. Right.
But it's so weird. To me, it's the same thing, but it's not a movie.
It isn't. It is and it isn't. Because like being on set is a different skill.
The fact, but you're like on set. Like, I'm not on set, bro.
It's a half-ass set, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got like a crew of like 5-6 people.
Yeah.
Bro, most crews got like 20, 30, 40.
Yeah.
50.
No, I haven't done a single thing. Look at this, bro. We got 4 cameras with
right, but
me
this is still legit
and
production. This is the liberalized production. This is like television, radio. Like this is like the intersection of it. And it's just that's what I'm saying. It's just the different level of quality and preparation. Because the other thing is a lot of social media people have the skill of turn around, get it done, turn around, get it done, turn around, get it done. And like generating the raw content. And that's impressive. And it's hard. And it's unique and rare. What a lot of social media people don't have is the ability to stay on one thing and stay focused on it and get it to the point of being exceptional.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
And that's why I think the culture propagates people, like it puts people up who have that first skill, and the people who zone in on something and get it to the point where it's like exceptional, they don't do well on social media too much. Like someone like a Pedro Pascal, and although you haven't seen The Last of Us.
No.
Well, there's reasons why people like that break and then they don't break on social media. You don't hear about them before. Does that make sense? It's just a different skill set. And I think both parties don't understand each other. Since I go between both worlds, like the actors think social media is kind of easy and they kind of resent it, I think. And they're like, oh.
I swear the fact that you and I are even having this conversation makes me think that it's going to happen.
Oh, it will. It will.
Lil Nas X breaking through the music industry in the beginning of 2019 was like, that was crazy. And like you would talk about it and and people would say that's impossible, but it was very obvious.
But it's been done before.
Yeah.
I think, what's his face? Shawn Mendes.
Right.
Came up from
He
Vine.
he came through from
Came
Vine.
Vine.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber, YouTube.
What about, what's his name? Harry Styles, no?
I don't know. I think Harry Styles was a product of the machine. I think the machine pushed him out, like a boy band machine, like industry pushed him out.
I don't know.
I mean, he was in Why Don't We, right? And I think that was I don't think they came up. Boy bands tend to be industry products.
He was in, One Direction?
One Direction,
Yeah.
that's right. I was thinking the Logan Paul thing. Why don't
Yeah.
we? Yeah, One Direction. Boy bands tend to be pushed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've seen the music thing happen before. We just haven't seen a high level social media guy.
What if there's like a plant in the social media to be that breaks through in this way that we're talking about? That'd be kind of wild.
It'd be wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it. Rudy Mancuso might be one of the better examples, actually.
Yeah.
Because he's somebody I think that doesn't post a bunch either.
Yeah.
Right. He used to, but then he kind of doesn't, and he does music as well. He's a very talented musician.
Very.
But he's working at a high level with acting, and he's getting pretty good opportunities.
I feel like out of the people we know and like this group of people, those people actually that you worked with first, like Hannah Stocking and that group.
She's made a great transition. She's doing television now.
I feel like they're gonna be the first to do it.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think some of them. Like Lele's not going to. Lele's doing music. That's what she wanted to do, because people build a big brand, then transfer.
Right.
It takes time, and takes a lot of effort and skill. And I people like Hannah. Hannah's an exceptional actor. I think she'll do it. Like, I have nothing but respect for her. She's very talented, so I think she can. Batch, same thing. I think he can, and it's just going to take time for kids to grow up, because I think a lot of things happen. You become a star by getting your fans as kids first.
Right.
That's the thing. And people make fun of you for it as adults, like people your age, but you get people your age, or you get younger people to be your fans first. Is normally how I see people be a star, like Zendaya, and then they grow up with you, and as they grow up, you grow up and do more mature stuff with them, and then you get taken more seriously at that level by everybody, right? Like Zendaya is a great example of that.
So I'm very excited to see where you go with all of this. Wrapping up the podcast now.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've basically been in this journey for like 3-4 years.
Like 5 years is when it really started.
Yeah.
I guess.
So I mean, it's still early, man.
Still early in the game. And
now you've got 4 things you're gonna kind of head towards.
Yes, that's my
so
path
cool.
and my strategy. We'll see if it works, but for me, it makes sense.
Yeah. Where are you posting like your journey about this anywhere for people to watch and hear about what you're doing, what you're up to? How can they follow the play?
I'll be posting about it on my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I'm getting better. So one of the things, post Our Man Life, I am pivoting towards trying to build a business around this, since I in the background just part-time, as you see, 325 videos. Is this just TikTok stats?
Just TikTok.
This is just TikTok. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. I mean, 11% engagement is very good.
That's fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hell yeah.
My engagement was like 6%.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. This is some other stuff too that's on here. You've made 86 minutes of content.
Yeah. Is that low? I feel slow.
I think it's low.
Yeah. That sounds about right. I don't post.
I mean, like, some people will all have like 300.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's wild. Like,
yeah.
I got it.
Shares, 38,000 shares.
That's low.
104,000 comments. 5 years watch time.
That's wild.
That's wild.
That's why when you look at the watch time,
that's crazy.
That's nuts to think about. People, so one person can sit there and watch it for 5 years, and that's how long people watch it.
Have watched all your content, man.
That's nuts.
Just on this one platform. Bro.
Yeah, one platform.
I'm excited to see when it clicks and you see the value of this.
I do.
And how that changes over this year.
Right.
Before you come on next year.
Right, yeah. I definitely see how, like you said, like if I put 10 times the effort, I would probably pop off 10 times as much.
With your own popcorn theory.
Right.
Which would be interesting to watch too.
Yeah, and I'm totally cool with, I have no shame. Like, I understand there's a game in popcorn because there's money to be made in popcorn. And once you have money, bro, life gets easier.
There it is.
Life gets way.
Do you have a future after, like, why are you doing all this as an actor? Like, what's
right? This is my side job. This is because I do make money doing these things.
I mean, after in
10 years,
20 years, like let's say I want to relax. People think about relaxing and then settling down, and what's your end goal? I guess
the end goal,
just to be well known like Charlie Chaplin, or
no? I to be honest, this is probably the most public way I'm saying this, but I plan on running for president of the United States.
What?
Yeah. I know it's a curveball,
bro. If you're the president and you're on my podcast, this will be so crazy.
Here's the thing, and it doesn't matter whether or not I actually do it. For me, I set insane goals, and then I just try to do them. Like, you have no idea. Like, the fact that if I told you 10 years ago that any of this was going to happen,
right?
You know way more impressive people like with more impressive stats than this. It would sound crazy, especially because I'm like, no small town, no experience, no exposure, no hope.
I mean, bro, I have faith that you put your mind to something like this, though. You're gonna do whatever you want,
right?
To do.
And if nothing else, it's that same thing that shapes my decisions. And if, like, for me, it's more about just being the pinnacle. I set basically the bar, and the reason I set president, it's like the pinnacle of what I could kind of aspire to be
in America.
Right. And
is that even the pinnacle? Why the president?
The maximum responsibility and
bro, what an answer.
Maximum required integrity.
Wow.
That's how I see it. And so for me, it doesn't even matter if I ever actually even run.
Bro, what if you just are the president, but like on your social media? Like,
sure.
Just decide. Guys, what up, guys? Hey, I'm the president today.
I think the U.S. government might have a problem with that.
Well, damn.
But no, I think just aspiring towards that.
This is
operating as if.
What about kid president?
No.
You know, kid president?
No, I take it seriously. That's why.
Okay.
I take these goals very seriously, because it doesn't matter whether or not I actually do them. Like I said, it's more about the principle of,
bro, you better get started.
And I operate within that thing. And if I move that way, I guarantee I'll be the kind of person that's even close.
Dude, that's
spitting this, or at least I'll hold myself to that standard. And I guarantee if that's the thing I raise myself to, the people around me will operate better, or I'll just operate around better people. Like, aspiring high goals gets you high places.
There's a great lesson in all of this that you're saying.
I hope so. I hope it's not just random.
No, it's not. I think that by watching this in entirety, hopefully you'll take away, that lesson.
I hope so.
But like somebody like you that is inspired, has a vision, sets a strategy, comes up with a strategy on how to reach that vision, and then goes and pursues that. That's the American dream, basically, man.
I feel like that's a formula for success. We'll find out.
Yeah. And you could write a book. You could be a celebrity. You could be a musician one day if you decide. You can be the president. I mean,
probably not going to do the musician thing. Part of it's self-awareness. I have very little natural talent for music at all, and I think most people pop when they're pretty young. So I think I missed that train.
Yeah, but still young, right?
On the back
28
on the backside of the 20s. Yeah, 28.
All right,
it's possible, but for me to learn and get good enough to do it.
Wait a second. No, wait a second. You could totally learn, bro. I've played the guitar, for a long time, but I only got after 3 years. I've been about the same for the past 15 years.
Okay, but how hard do you work on it?
Now, nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why.
But like, I did just work on like an album last year.
Oh,
yeah!
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah.
Nice. Have you released it?
Like one song at a time.
Okay.
I'm on
yeah.
Song 1.
Nice.
But it's going.
Well, hell yeah,
I'll play for you later.
Yeah, you guys send it to me.
Send it to you. All right. How can people find you?
Oh yeah. You can just find me on all my socials. It's just Chaz Laughlin, like it's written right there on the board.
Yep.
Chaslaughlin, and that's on all my platforms.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chaz.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Cool.